final, and we're hoping it's going to shape up to be, I'm hoping it's going to be fantastic. We've got Epsilon, a team who, I mean, the fact that they're in this final alone is amazing for them. They've had a lot of struggles in the past, Lauren. What are your thoughts on Epsilon and both their route here, but also their history?
They have such an illustrious history with these finals, whether it be their chokes in the group stages, their chokes in the grand finals. But this time they've made it this far. They've got to this point now. There's a huge amount on the line for these boys. It's all down to Epsilon to step up. Fnatic have it, everything in their favor. But break down to me who you think is the people to be watching here in these two.
For me, on the side of Epsilon, I've got my eyes on David. He played absolutely out of his mind in the semi-finals. We quite literally just watched. Mayek as well, another player we just spoke to prior to going into this one. We were like, how does it feel, you know, to be able to prove yourself in this offline environment? And he said it feels great, but obviously that final will make it feel just that little bit better. So yeah, for the Epsilon side of things, definitely Mayek, Marsu, Horek. I mean, I could list off the whole team, to be fair, but yeah, those two, David and Mayek, are my players to watch.
And the worrying factor here is, right, let me just throw your minds back. They were discussing the fact that Epsilon previously did come into this, and they have been in this position before. They've come second to Fnatic not too long ago, and the worrying factor is the 3 maps we're going to be seeing in a slightly different order was the map pool that they lost on. Yes, they had Asterix in there, not Mayek, a player that had to come in because Mayek wasn't old enough to compete. The previous maps were Dawnbreaker, Zavod, and Storm. We're going to see those 3 again. Now, if there's any chance of revenge for the Epsilon boys, it has to be now. They're here to prove a point, to say that we are just as good as Fnatic. It was an error in that spring season.
And there have been 3 seasons. Epsilon have only shot was the spring of 2014. And Fnatic, they won in 3. Epsilon,
clean 3.
They got to that top 3 stage. You guys at home think the same. You can see 68% of you voting for Fnatic. But overall, Epsilon's first and only shot really now is up against Fnatic in this grand final.
And let me just break down the history even further. In the group stages in winter, the first loss that Epsilon faced was to Fnatic in a 2-0. And every single time Epsilon has gotten close, someone has just given that 10% more. So as we said, this means everything to these guys. They finally have the lineup that they want. They finally have everything they need at their fingertips. If it's going to happen, it has to be now. But I'm surprised at seeing some of those maps being eliminated. Propaganda and Lamphini Gardens. We were earlier discussing, as we mentioned, outside with Epsilon, and they said, we don't like the new maps, they don't suit us, and we know Fnatic can play them. So those 2 banned out, the rest up for grabs, but they have such a similar comfort map pool, these 2, that you're gonna see these kind of maps coming quite close, but I am surprised seeing Zavod in there first, because I know Fnatic actually don't like it. I was speaking to Drunks a little earlier on. I was trying to say, is there a weak point to you guys? Is there a map you don't actually like? He was like, well, no, but if we can choose, we try and get rid of Zavod. That's generally our ban, so...
And worth mentioning on the back of that is that we know Epsilon are good at Zavod. We saw them. I mean, it was so early, so much earlier today, but just the semi-final, Epsilon up against SK, the first map, Zavod was won over by Epsilon, and they won it quite convincingly, especially in that second half. There was a 26-ticket advantage from them in the first half, and then SK just seemed to crumble to the Epsilon Zavod play. And it's an interesting way they approach it. You obviously have a bit more insight, because, I mean, this was your season when you were covering the Epsilon play on Zavod. You were basically highlighting it was a one-man army. Purely because that A control was provided by one player. Epsilon, they've changed it now. They're trying something different. They've gone for this much more flexible approach, which I think is going to pretty much hit Fnatic with a bit of a surprise.
It certainly will. But then again, Epsilon have become more well-rounded, a little more like Fnatic. So how do you beat these guys at their own game? That is the big question. But looking at those lineups, for Epsilon, it's Marzu, Horek, David, Mayek, and Duke. And on the other side, take us through Fnatic.
Okay, for Fnatic, we have Unfixed, Mort, Drunks, Valutasha, and Too Easy. And you keep your eye on every single one of them. These guys are all really top of their game. It's going to be interesting to see how far they get as we hit that 5-second countdown. Live is in chat. This is time. This is the first map of your grand final, ESL One Battlefield 4. As we kick this one off, Lauren, what is going through their minds as they approach these sites?
Absolutely everything comes down to these moments. Horek, a quick push out towards A. You can see that Epsilon, they're sending 2 now towards A rather than the 3. A passive hold on B. That's given the early advantage over to Fnatic. I think they're playing for the retake, possibly on towards this A site, but committing David this early is something new for them.
Yeah, and it's something he did really well in the past. Looks like actually Mort's already gone down to an early grave. David's been gifted this site. Nobody's in a position to spawn in on him, and Epsilon's going to take it. He seems to be filling the shoes of Horik. I said this in the semis. He's doing the same role again, and he's doing it so well. He's got the CZ in hand. This time it's Horik. You see that weapon, you know who you're going to be watching. Horik not so lucky this time. He goes down, and AC hold with that B site, the only one in Russian hands.
But look at Fnatic, they're moving back in towards C. They're going to try and reclaim that. They played for the B take. That was their main focus initially on the Russian side. And now they've gone for an all-in sweep down towards C. And with such prowess to it, it was phenomenal. The only real issue for Fnatic right now are the two players for Epsilon coming in towards the B site from the back spawns.
And at the forefront of that is David. No surprises there. The guy is just so good at making a presence on this site. And he doesn't need backup all the time. This time he should have, though. Drunks takes him down with the AEK, diving down, breaking that parachute out for a soft landing. And 140 to 133, Fnatic have an early advantage, and all that hard work from David wasn't in vain. The B site comes over.
Yeah, and I think Fnatic are deciding what to do right about now. They're looking at their options. Valutaja playing the Horik role, which is basically what we see between these two, and then leaving the others to pick up the kills. They've won over on the B site, and it looks like it's going to come down to possibly a 1v1 for a trip cap.
They're trying so hard. Unfix just dancing around this site. He doesn't need to show himself just yet. Instead, sitting steady on the side. Look at the players coming, prowling around the corner. First man to fall is Mayek. Looking for a second as well. Adds another before he goes down, as Unfix actually takes too easy down with him. Bullet into his teammate. That is how deep in concentration they are. He saw movement and he took the shot.
Yeah, they were not messing on that one, but still a good trip cap, but they need to be able to fall back now to be able to hold this A site as well. Valutaja playing the back player, just kind of keeping tabs on this. He knows where the players are, doesn't get it, but Unfix trying to clean up the mess, and it's Unfix right now who is performing. 6-3, goes down into David, and that's an open site for Epsilon to get back in towards. That's nicely done by David, the team captain for Epsilon.
Team captain and top fragger. He seems to be so good at this. It's really impressive when we cut to David. It's not a player who, I mean, in the past may have shone out to me.
B's the big next hit, though. Let's focus on that. We'll get back to your point. It's a 4v2, but is it a fake play for C, do you think?
I don't think that's going to work out too well. I mean, yes, David is going to be positioned for a spawn, but for some reason, there's no one there to back it up. Valu's the only man there. He's in the corner. He has the aim, but he doesn't have the life. He goes down, and Mayek is going to be there to back it all up as he gets a second onto Drunks. Mayek's picking up the frags. He's doing such a great job already. The revive is going to be a full one from Mort, the medic of the team at the moment, as the C site is going to be calmed off as Valutaja and his team stave off that assault. But now turn your attention to B. Two players, Horik and David. They're on the hunt for Mort.
They are, and they've found Mort. Mort has been locked down and located, just about whisking away himself into a touch of cover, leaving Valu and Unfix possibly to help out, but still a 2-1 finally for Epsilon as the push begins to kind of formulate from them. Are they looking towards maybe switching the A site with C, or are they going to reinforce back on towards A? That's the bigger point here, as Unfix will be trying to cap that one out.
Let's see, the A site is going on. Well, going well for Unfixed, actually. You can see two members, Horik and Marcy, were on the hunt for him. Unfixed is going to be the first man trying to stay steady. Oh, I thought he had the double. He just fell at the final hurdle, and instead the A flag's going to be going over to Epsilon. They've staved off this bleed. Fnatic do have a pretty comfortable lead at the moment. That 20-ticket bit of padding could very well be enough.
Yeah, and we're seeing Valu just kind of listening to orders. I think they were hoping for this back B spawn because they had an opportunity earlier for it. And let's see if actually they can keep doing this, because Unfix is in the right position. They've near on got a squad wipe against Epsilon. That's going to open the map up completely, and the northeast spawn coming in for Epsilon. That is huge. That's going to send them back towards A and leave Fnatic a little more time, but Drunks is on the front lines here.
He is, and it's looking pretty tough for Drunks. Just lying in the bushes, trying to have a touch of cover, but he goes down. Missing bullets, he shouldn't. Horik, the man with the frag, with the CZ. And Valutaja trying to do the same from a distance. It's a weapon you can't really get the picks, though, as he's going to have to sit back, get some more ammo, and go back to the drawing board. Fnatic's still comfortable, though. They have that BC hold. Epsilon have been trying everything within their power to make B happen. I don't think it's going to be the case, and I think instead they need to gather their forces, gather their numbers, and push through mid to C. I think that's what they're doing.
Well, let's see if that works out for them. And here we go. C is, as you said, under pressure. 3v2. Epsilon have the numbers, but do they have the power to convert this? Unfixed holding on down below, but it's not the lower push that's coming in. And there we have it. Epsilon turning it around on his head, picking up the 2-1 and sending Fnatic back towards the west side of this map, just locked down towards B, with the northwest spawn coming in. Drunks has a long run on his hands, trying to get back in, but an aggressive play from Duke holds them up en route and allows the likes of Too Easy to get closer. So maybe this could work out for Fnatic if they can convert on this A site. So far, just Mayek playing patiently, waiting for the push, seeing where these guys are. Fnatic aren't rushing this. They still have a small lead in this one, but B might be under contest soon if David has his way.
Let's see. C is quite happily just being guarded by Too Easy. In the meantime, A has been captured over. David falling at the B site. 3 members from Fnatic was all it took, but that's a huge commitment of numbers. And in the meantime, you can see that C flag is already changing hands. Marsu, the only man in a position to really change anything, but I don't think he's going to risk it. He has the Ace 23. He's waiting for the teammates to go. They can't spawn in because they haven't died. Instead, playing the waiting game, waiting for them to gather. And here they come, 4 members from Epsilon trying to stave this bleed off.
And I like this from Epsilon, playing smart, even in the highest pressure situations. He pushes in just as the rest are spotted, and players like Unfix would have stood no chance in that. And a quick retraction from the rest of Epsilon means that they can come back and defend the A site. 92-61 though. Fnatic is still in the lead here. I think we should listen in towards the Fnatic side and see how this one sounds.
I got 1 mid.
Getting in, guys. One more screaming. Bullet on C. B nading, 2 guys B. Like B maybe, I got one more.
Let's push C, push C.
It was in B, guys.
Lower.
Down.
Mid B.
Above. A,
One.
1A.
I'm going back middle. Get A.
Is that A? One more.
I'll get it.
Flag. Take cap.
Platform.
One low.
Wait, I get him. I got it. Hey, still alive.
Behind.
Tense time still on the Fnatic camp. Their calls are vital at this point. The tickets are getting close, Alex. This is not such a clear-cut ordeal.
It's not, and I mean, you cannot forget how much Epsilon, how easy Epsilon can get a bit phased by this Fnatic side. In the past, they have had issues just by Fnatic game style, perhaps, whether it's not the noise they make on the stage, but they fell at the spring hurdle. Can they make it happen here in the fall season? 76-41, they do not want to see this first map go. The statistic Jason actually pulled out was 10 of the 11 victories that team won the first map. Now, just take that into consideration as this battle for the first map may seem insignificant. It means a great deal. 72-39, Lauren. That B site is looking like it's going to change hands, but it all relies on a 1v1.
It does indeed. Mayek moving in. Mayek doesn't pick it up. Valutaja, the most experienced man on this team overall, doing what he does best and locking out the trip cap for Fnatic. That is perfectly done. And look how many players and resources Epsilon are pouring in towards this B site, and it's still not paying off.
They're trying so hard, but David has got there as well. It's a 3v3. Numbers still favoring Epsilon, actually. The flag is going over to them, especially as Valutaja now falls. He's been put to bed permanently, and 2 men make it 3 as they spawn it in on B. They're going to be using that as their spawn point because they need to make a move fast. 22 tickets is all they have to play for. They want to bring that 68 as far down as they can because, Fnatic, they have any sort of advantage in that first half. They are going to press where it hurts in the second.
They certainly will, and Unfix playing out of his skin. 15 kills so far, down to the 1v1, but this 1v2 is huge. Drunks moves in for the kill. He gets it. Too Easy's done the damage, but can he follow up? No, he gets the exchange! And there we go. 1 player is left on the side. It's David. He locks it down. That's a possible 2-1. Marzu able to deal with the players at A. Maybe Epsilon has some fight in them.
Yes, indeed. They need to have the fight fast, though. They've probably got about 1 push in it. You said it yourself. They have that BC hold. As soon as they forego it, as soon as that B flag is captured over, which it looks like it may very well be right now, Drunks is the man on that cap, and he's going to be securing that one so very easily. The only man to stop him is going to be Mort. You can see he's just on the outside area. Mort, that's actually for Fnatic. What am I talking about? Still, though, it's worth highlighting the AB hold from Fnatic is starting that bleed once again. Epsilon have nothing to play with, and this could very well be a trip cap to wrap it all up. And a 54-ticket lead is scary for Epsilon.
Considering this is Fnatic's weaker map that they don't like, that we know Epsilon enjoys, that's not what you want to be looking at for a halftime score. You wanted something a little closer, a little something to rustle the Fnatic jimmies, but so far they're pretty much sitting still. So Valu moving around, just getting the kill after kill. Nice cheeky back cap coming out of Mayek. And, well, B staying confirmed. And A, I think we know a halftime score. It's going to be around that 53 marker. And I'm pretty sure Fnatic will be chuffed with that one.
Can hear a scream over the microphone. Those guys happy. Fnatic taking a little victory sip. You can see Mort there Happy, nodding his head. And I mean, that was a great half. I think this was a map Fnatic were going into knowing, let's get this out of the way. This is what Epsilon are good at. We knock their confidence, it's game. Yeah, and I said it before,
Valutage, one of the most experienced players you're going to get in these situations. 21-10 in one half. Experience like this where you feel no difference between playing at home on your PC and coming to a stage in front of a crowd, you know, in the highest pressure situation for a lot of money. He doesn't feel phased, and he can turn up and do that. That's what you want in a player. Whereas you look on the other side, Mayek, 5-13. Not quite having the time of his life that we saw him having on some of the initial games for Epsilon.
Yep, you can see him on your screen there. David as well. And Duke just sitting... I don't know. I think they're having a big team talk. This is something you have to talk about mindset. I mean, you raised a perfect point there. Valutage, this is look at him. This is a walk in the park. He knows what to expect in a scenario like this. And for some of these Epsilon players, yes, they had to do it in the spring season. Mayek, though, he didn't. He was too young. This is his first time in this environment, and I mean, it's affecting him. What was the frag? 3?
5, I think.
5 frags, so little for such a strong player, and that is a huge difference. David knows how much this means to both his teammates, but also to himself. I think it's a big deal for him being that team captain. He's so set on giving them the best experience as well as just himself.
Yeah, most certainly. It's a lot of pressure to have on one man's shoulders, but he is so experienced. He is so in the game with these boys, but still, such few tickets on the half to work with. It's not the lead that... I expected a closer game. 53, it's probably the lowest anyone's gotten Fnatic for quite some time. I think we might have seen one a little lower when they were playing on Locker against MYM, but that's nothing compared to the pressure you feel in these finals, as these guys now need to really just consolidate everything. Epsilon, it's time to go.
It is time to go. 20 seconds on that countdown. They know how much this means to them. Yes, it's the first map. If they let this one slip, though, it's going to be a slippery slope. Dawnbreaker, Storm, maps that we know Fnatic can just press, and that pressure is something Epsilon at the moment have been stumbling with. We see 2 engineer classes. Lauren, talk me through what we're going to see.
We might see a little bit of kind of map evolution to an extent. But so far, I think they might go for the kind of taking away some of that mid wall. They like to take away the back of A as well, but that's purely progressive. We know Horek likes the CZ just as a gun itself, so it's not necessarily just for that, but you can see the route has been open for him, and he can get in there straight away, utilize that hip fire, but he's got to land the bullets.
Holy moly, that was fast. Horek didn't quite manage to survive, but the pressure that he exerted just by being there forced 2 players to go into defensive mode. Horek's back, though. He has been revived. The C flag's going to be capped over. The A flag, however, isn't going to meet such a good fate, as once again an Epsilon player steps over too easy with ease. It's David, no surprises there. He's been filling that role so very well. And with the A and C under control, Epsilon, they need to stay concentrating.
Yeah, let's see how that sounds over on the Epsilon side.
One more machines. He's on machine. On top. I'm pushing.
It's on the tower on machines.
Okay, we see. Pushing C now, 2.
On my body.
They
go away as well. They're already losing.
They gotta see push.
Go big.
Gate. What the fuck?
I'm going behind, David. Nice. Is that? Jungle spawn. Go big, come on.
Yeah, he's... Tunnel.
One more jungle. That.
Nice.
One more B, I hear B. One more B on the right side.
It's gonna blow.
Hit machines.
Nice. Still big, for sure.
Yeah, I think one more B.
Nice calls coming out from Epsilon, not feeling the pressure just yet, as they do have about a 10-ticket lead in their pockets, but overall still at a deficit to Fnatic. And while they are holding the 2-1 for now, a solid play on C is keeping it in check.
Yeah, and they've kept it in check for a good length of time. You've already said that Epsilon, they've held on to BC for a surprising length of time. When they did end up losing A, immediately they just shattered the defense of Fnatic on B and moved on to that one. Looks like Horek's going to do something he does best. If ever you want a masterclass in how to push A on your own, you're about to have it. Horek just holding an angle. We don't so often see him held. I think it's because he knows, he expects there to be a defensive player, and you can actually see already there is one just about to show himself. Oh, and the timing, he's going to be furious. He was holding that angle for so long, and as soon as he started to move, he got caught out by Valutage. But who else is going to catch you out? He's 4 for 4 already. 4 frags in about 2 minutes' time. He's making it really count as he trying to make a move on B. Does get shut down, but in the meantime, look at this 4-man push towards that C site.
Yeah, and Epsilon dealing with it on every front. Fnatic are going to start getting flustered here. That ticket advantage is being whittled away at, so Fnatic might start getting that little bit of an edge that kind of may make or break them sometimes. They don't like this map, we know it. They don't play it often. I'm surprised that this is still in the map pool and they are getting picked to pieces. Finally, they have a shot at C, but will they make it in time?
It's a real question. Talking of time, 3 minutes in and already only losing 20 tickets. Epsilon doing fantastic work in contrast to 90 of Fnatic.
Is this going to be a trip cap?
It's a possibility. You can see the Acer flags going over. Fnatic trying to make it happen on C. We'll jump on board with one of them and see what Too Easy has in store. He's actually going to be able to capture over pretty much hazard-free. There's nobody in his vicinity, or if there was, I think it was Marsu. He got shut down long ago. In the meantime, though, B is now Fnatic's next target. Valutaja with the revive, getting his teammate lassoing onto him. And Ulrich picks up the first one. Valutaja down. That doesn't mean the threat is, though, neutralized. And there comes the second. That's the revives. The threat of the revive shut down. Unfixed is remaining. And now they're making their way towards A. Let's listen in on what they're perhaps talking about as this continues.
Guys, you need to go back. They will go C. They will go C. Go B. Go B. Machines. Bayek on machines. Machines A.
One down A. One down A. One down A.
C hard, guys.
Nice. I got A. I got A.
Guys, there's 2 down on C. Mega hard. We're gonna lose. They're focused now, guys.
Go B. Fast.
What happened last time, though? One middle, attack! It's low, very low. 7 HP you. I'm pushing it. Nice. One more. Middle container. White container, middle. It's low. He's dead. Nice. Behind you.
Mid.
One more there. One B. Missed him.
Really? I almost want to see what Epsilon is saying in response to that. Is that possible?
Two on the ground.
Okay, come back, come on.
Running. Spotting and running.
Yeah.
Can someone go away, maybe? Because they're all running. All running.
Nice. One more undergun.
One dead.
Upper clear.
Hey, see. Don't.
Nice. Mid.
Lord.
This is huge. This is absolutely huge. 121 to 43. Epsilon are playing a phenomenal game at the moment.
Yeah, and you could hear that little crack in Fnatic's comms. They did not sound like that cool, calm, collected team that we know them to be. They seem so relaxed when you see them when they're on the stage. They seem so chill on that first half. And as soon as something doesn't go their way, already comms are starting to crumble. Epsilon, they need to maintain this pressure now. 120 to 35. Fnatic 30 tickets away from the lost first map, sorry.
Yeah, Fnatic aren't used to this. Like, how long has it been since they've had to mentally build themselves back into a game? I probably couldn't tell you. It's been seasons and a trip cap to really add insult to injury on this one. I don't think they're going to walk out of this with a win, and I think they know that. You heard, keep focused, but they can't. They're trying their hardest here. You know, Valu's still fighting hard, but Too Easy on 2 to 8. That is not a scoreline you see this man on. And I'd say a minute down the line, if that, we're going to see Epsilon actually picking up the first map. After a massive deficit of 53 tickets at this level against them, they've turned it around.
For a grand final, for Epsilon to look in the face of 53 tickets and say, no, that is not an insurmountable amount, that shows such, I was about to say courage, it is. It shows that they've got the mindset for a grand final. They know how to play this, and Fnatic, they're looking weak. 3 tickets, that's all that stands between Epsilon and map number 1. And don't you forget that statistic. Look at that 1 ticket, you can hear the screams of Epsilon. And do not forget, 10 out of 11 games, the team that won the first map won the game. Let's see if that comes true as we wrap that one up.
Yeah, very big win there for those boys. That is massive. Just to get over that mental barrier of Fnatic are untouchable. If they can keep that performance up going forward, they're in a good position. It was just a bad start on the second half of Fnatic. They were never in control. From the very offset, Epsilon had that mindset they wanted to do damage. They messed up on the first half. They know that, but they turned it around. They proved that they can dig deep and play like the best of them. And Fnatic haven't had that feeling in a long time, but we throw our minds back many a seasons now when Battlefield 4 was just coming to the competitive scene. These two are going head-to-head so many times.
Look at that. So much pump, so much hype on the Epsilon side of things. Fnatic, though, they've got to go back to the drawing board if we go into map number 2.
Dawnbreaker coming up next. Bit of a unique one for these guys, I would say. Funny enough, they have probably the most similar playstyle. Positions, players, everything is equal in this one between these two. They have pretty much the same setup. Whether they meant it or not, it's near on equal. Now, if we see an A-B hold for either of these sides, you'll see the players going head-to-head who play this week in, week out. They know those spots better than anyone else, and they'll show you how it should be done. So if you're going to see a team coming out on this one winning, they're the better team overall. And this map will define so much.
This is it, make or break. Fnatic, can they prove that that was a fluke? Can they show to Epsilon that that's not going to happen again? It all falls onto Fnatic's shoulders now. Epsilon, they have that comfort. This is a best of 5, don't you forget it. We do have the first map under Epsilon's belt, but we'll see as we go into map number 2. It's Stormbreaker, a map both teams, as Lauren has already highlighted, are so very strong on. And with just 10 seconds left, we have to see how Epsilon are going to approach this one. We're going into map number 2. Let's see where this one goes. Looking to go for the boost, Lauren.
Yeah, no surprise there. They might go for an early challenge, actually, on towards B with this, or maybe just pressure the street. We'll have to wait and see. Duke is leading the way. The slight evolution comes into practice as Epsilon do look like they're going for a slight challenge on towards B. Something we don't often see these days, but the main point is the pressure in the buildings.
Yeah, not so slight of a challenge. You can see Too Easy having to do... Oh, he does so much work! Duke just missing in his entire magazine. Too Easy punishes it with a bullet of his Magnum, and now Mayek looking to do some work on it of his own. Goes down, in fact, to the ace 23 of a Fnatic player, and this is not fantastic for Epsilon as this start. Yes, they do have control slightly of the ace site, but the other two are still flying the Fnatic flag, and it's not really going to work out too well for them unless they find a remedy soon. Because Fnatic, we all know how well they are at being rotation-based. They're very good at, oh, you're taking B, we'll take A. And that's something they have to watch out for.
They certainly do, and I'm pretty sure Fnatic know how Epsilon want to play this, and they're going to put players in specific places just to put them off. Drunk's there, pops up, spots across, gets the double spot. Nice bit of work. He does go down, but that might have fed enough information for Too Easy to come in and clear up. Not sure if that's the case, though. B under threat. There's players absolutely everywhere who can challenge this. David does go down, though. But look at this. The street race is on between Mayek and Valu. Valu comes out on top, but B is still in Epsilon's hands.
It is, but for how long? Epsilon trying to maintain it. Too Easy has other plans, though. He's been in that position for so long, and patience has paid off. Too Easy in a position to cap this one out. His teammate is there as well. And as they're approaching this one, Valutasha trying to challenge A for a trip cap.
Yeah, a little bit risky, but he buys time, and if he gets kills, that is brilliant. He gets the first, he knows where they're coming from. They can't come from his left unless they take the long road around. Pushes in, and there's your trip cap, ladies and gents. That's the power of Fnatic when they get in the driving seat. It's so hard to pull him out of it. So Valu still holding on firmly, playing it smart, adjusting position, making sure Epsilon are on their toes. B still being fought over. He's going to be challenged. Can he hold on to this?
Oh, and he tried so hard. Ducked and covered, but couldn't quite pick up the frag. The B flag does fly, though, for Epsilon, and all of Valutasha's hard work on A goes in vain. The B flag still for Epsilon. Fnatic players are challenging, though. You can see already they've managed to neutralize it. Unfixed holding that street or doing his best to do so. He's actually been pretty much suppressed, going to force himself back up against the wall. Great positioning from Epsilon. However, 130 to 103, this is a different start to Fnatic.
Yeah, let's hear from the Epsilon side here.
It's small, it's
One coming, one cat, four.
One below stairs.
One on C flag.
Dead.
Nice. There's one more highway, Duke, look up.
Let's see.
Nice.
We got to B, can we?
I go cap. I'm capping.
Be small,
Probably-
stairs, you like stairs, you like stairs. Bars is going corner.
Random
Bars
shoot.
going corner, guys. Go back, Connect.
Okay.
Connect, go back. Yeah, one coming from C. Yeah, back on the back.
U-box.
Well, they sound calm, but I'm not sure if they are so calm as they only have 2 players and near on squad wipe. And B going over to Fnatic. That's going to change things up here. Fnatic back in the driving seat, but they don't suit that unorthodox style, and there are those back spawns.
Those are the spawns Fnatic have been doing so very well to avoid. David going to do his very best to make them pay for this mistake, and he does just that. Bullet to the brain of Mort as he gets maybe for a second on towards that C site. Doesn't need to. His teammate's done the work for him as Mayek comes in with a frag onto Valutasha. AC split. It's a hole that they can make work. If anyone was going to make it work, it would be Epsilon. Too Easy in trouble around those metal detectors, trying to put some bullets in towards one of the 2 players defending. Instead, switching to the Magnum, he knows he's got very little to do as he does go down. Now, the B flag is looking under threat as well.
And I want to hear Fnatic. They might be flustered. They may be under pressure.
One back of C.
I think they're spawning offices or shit. Close this.
Gallery one.
One is highway.
Just one is camping.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
One lower highway.
One spotted.
I got him.
Nice.
One lower, one
highway, lower highway.
One boss. Highway.
Gallery,
now.
upper gallery.
Highway stairs. No, he's going step
One
up.
gallery.
Step up.
One gallery.
Step up for jungle. Step up for jungle.
Down. Highway.
He got me.
Someone go
guys,
highway stairs.
Pick up, guys. Back
Come
away.
on, it's okay, guys. Come on, keep going. Come on.
A one.
What is it?
Two guys A.
2 on A.
Gallery.
One down, one more.
Two down on flag. 2 down on flag. Come on, guys. Don't get pushed like this. We
Gallery.
need to get
Push, yeah. Push. 2 down. There's 2 down. Let's push now.
One is in gallery.
Don't get pushed like this. Fnatic, not really sure if they have an answer. We sometimes question, do Fnatic know how to change their game style up? This doesn't seem like they do. Epsilon have responded, and their adaptation has been so strong, they've managed to level out those tickets. Just 9 standing between them. Fnatic do manage to kind of stop the boat from rocking so very strongly, but they are immediately losing back out on that B flag. Epsilon, when they won that B flag, they get it.
Yeah, they most certainly do. And Fnatic might need to switch up, as you said, try and adjust their style. Yes, they're still leading tickets, but for Fnatic, they feel like they're losing at this sort of small margin. They are used to being a mile ahead of teams. That's too easy now, working his way up. They're getting caught in between. That's the biggest issue for them, that they don't ever have control. Drunks is pushing up on the highway side. A little bit of fire comes through, but I'm not sure if he can actually challenge out this A flag alone. There's 3 players watching this. Valu is with him. Drunks might have to go for a play here and see if he can maybe penetrate the site, as there are very few options left. B just doesn't seem to work, and now Drunks is bullied out of here. Epsilon are holding this one down. They should be able to convert this, but did they overcommit and leave B open?
I think they did. I think they were counting on that player just on the outskirts. You can see already bullets being fired at him from Unfixed, and instead actually looked like we're going to get some CQB. Instead, no, Unfixed goes down courtesy of Duke, and that's all it takes perhaps to restore the integrity of that B flag. Looks like Mort's going to change it up on A as well, though, as that's going to start flying for the US side of Fnatic. As the, actually, mostly a 1v1. David, if he's going to win it, it's going to be like a repeat of Zavod. Is he going to be dancing around the corner? He knows this one, just hiding in that corner. In fact, no, not just one. The power of the respawn. Fnatic have that element of surprise, and I think it is quite definitely surprising the Epsilon team, as they do go down. And now, as we readjust and take stock, 75-59. Fnatic have an advantage, but is it going to hold?
It's a very good point. It's so scrappy right now, which is something that I'm not used to between these two. Normally clinical and clear, but today, not so much so, both being pushed by each other to limits that we haven't seen in a long time. Fnatic finally have to bring out the A game. David, though, moving up towards the top of the street, might have a chance of picking up a nice, easy kill towards Unfix. And he does do just that. Picks it up and loosens the grip from Fnatic on this B site, but the back spawns have been favorable.
This is one of the Dawnbreaker games that we used to see a lot. We know where it's just a battle for B. A and C are kind of afterthoughts. This is exactly what is going on right now. B site constantly changing hands, always relying on the team that respawns better and plays the squad better. At the moment, it is Epsilon holding onto that B flag, but in the meantime, the C flag has been taken away from the Fnatic side. Epsilon trying to make it red. They are jumping on. You see Marsu and Mort having this battle between them. Has managed to capture it over, but you saw Mort is just around the corner. Duke's coming around to avenge him, though, trying to pick up the frag. Mort says no. The Ace 23 of his just a little too strong. And as it all comes to said and done, it's a trip cap for Epsilon. Can they maintain it, Lauren?
Let's hear from the boys themselves.
They're 5-8. They're 5-8. They're 5-8.
5-8. Okay, BC. BC one. It's easy. Kept that.
On the bridge.
The other bridge.
We just need to capture.
2 on highway.
Up bridge, 2 past bridge. 1 for HP.
Wait for
Above
a
you,
time.
David.
Making
David.
good.
Above you.
Okay, they know I am dead.
That's fine.
Okay, let's go A stairs, guys.
There was 2 up.
Let's go A stairs. Trying to set their sights on A this time. We'll see how that one works out, as Valutaja is doing a masterclass in capturing subtly. Picks up that B flag completely unfazed by the Epsilon swarm that's heading up down that street. And of course, you see the CZ, you see Horek. Horek is trying to make a move on towards this A site. Epsilon need it, actually, as that B flag has been taken away from them. They're trying to almost pull a Fnatic on Fnatic. This is a move that we often see Fnatic execute. Doesn't look like it's going to work out too well for Fnatic, as the 2 men do manage to capture the A flag over. Going for that CA hold It's not ideal, but it is going to stop the bleed. It's going to start it ticking against Fnatic, and surely not. We're seeing the B as well. Epsilon, they've started a trip cap at this stage in the game. Fnatic are not ready.
This is unbelievable. Fnatic might be down 2-0 if it goes this way. They go into a half with even just a close score. I'd say Epsilon have been outplaying them this time around. Epsilon near on squad wipe. This has to turn. Fnatic will be against the odds. They have to play unorthodox. They're going to have to lock down that back C spawn, play for B, stop being scrappy in this, and play their game. Being pushed to play Epsilon style, to play a little bit different, to play out of their comfort zone, is making it damn hard work.
They're playing out of their skin right now. Epsilon, all it takes from them is that little bit of kind of a break from the mold. They're not playing Dawnbreaker as Fnatic expects them to, and it's working so very well. 2v2 on B flag is occurring at the moment. You can see Mex in a duel with that Magnum, trying to get the pick, instead opting to bring David back from the grave. In fact, I think he changed his mind as he realizes he's going to get pressured by Drunks.
He certainly is, and Drunks comes in, does the job, and I want to just tune in with Fnatic. They must be furious it's gone this close.
Hey, guy, one.
One low, one low.
Back to B, guys, I need help.
One low. Is that nice? Don't cap. One more. No, David was there, David. Yeah, still there.
All right, back to B, back to B. I got him.
Run away.
There's two there.
Back away, guys.
Okay, hold B.
One chunk. One is going chunk. And one A gate. One is off this, guys. I'm out of fence.
Sounding slightly more flustered than usual. That's not the cool, calm, collected Fnatic we've grown to love and know, but so far they're being pressured on all fronts. Too easy goes down on highway, opening up the possibility for a last-minute C cap and possibly a B. If Epsilon win this out, they could get a trip cap and close it out, even though it's at 15-14.
It's so level, and I don't think this is going to go well for either team. Whoever comes out on top of this hold, B and C both under contention. B starts lighting up good for Fnatic. C, however, looking good for Epsilon. But Unfixed is in a position to change that. He is in a great position. You see the statue is in smithereens, and so is Fnatic's lead. It's gone, 9 for 11. A and B possibly going to change hands. You see the C site has been snatched away already. 9-10. These tickets are inseparable, as are these teams. Fnatic start looking good. They pick up the C flag. It's all onto the remaining Epsilon players. They're holding on to spawns, Lauren.
Oh, and this is huge. The exchange is massive. That comes down to pretty much a 1v2, 7-4. This is inseparable, but Fnatic might have just about done this at the last couple of seconds. And there we have it, a tiny lead on the half. But those 7 tickets were so hard fought for.
7 tickets for Fnatic. It's pretty impressive stuff. I mean, that felt like Epsilon were making Fnatic sweat. A map that we have always known Fnatic are amazing at. Dawnbreaker, when I know it's bad, I always think Dawnbreaker Fnatic, but to your credit, you said Epsilon love this map too. And it showed.
Both love it.
7 tickets, that's all there is to separate these teams in map number 2. Do not forget, of course, map number 1 was secured by Epsilon, so Fnatic playing the catch-up game.
I just don't know how Fnatic aren't realizing they're being pushed to play a different style, and yet they're not adapting to it. They're playing this weird game that they don't like. They're not in control of it. They need to play smarter. They need to play more like themselves rather than playing like Fnatic. And like Epsilon, sorry.
And do I need to highlight that in Zavod, map number 1, Fnatic had a 53 ticket lead. Epsilon proceeded to win. 7 tickets on Dawnbreaker, Epsilon unfazed. Absolutely unfazed. This is a whole new half, and Epsilon, I think they got a lot of valuable information from that first half. They know what to expect from Fnatic. They also know what gets under Fnatic's skin, and that was that AC hold. As soon as Epsilon got the first AC hold, they seemed to get it time and time again, and I think that was a conscious decision.
And the amount of trip caps that Epsilon brought in was huge to go for that play. Unbelievable, and I just don't understand why Fnatic weren't controlling the spawns like they usually do. They normally try and define that as much as possible, but they just didn't seem to bring that this time. And I don't know if that was just an error, but regardless, Fnatic do get to start on, you could argue, the better side, the Chinese side, which gives you A in the bag, but I want to see how they focus this one out. Do they just go for A and B and try and keep control from the offset? Because if they get thrown off at the very start, I feel that Epsilon won't let it go. So, Fnatic, Chinese side in the red, and on the US side it's Epsilon. Epsilon currently keeping a 7-ticket lead. And David, on your screen, is the one to be keeping your eyes on. A firm, but rather talented leader for the Epsilon boys.
Yeah, indeed. So Epsilon up against it, 7 tickets in the hands of Fnatic. And as we look towards the start of this one. With only 8 seconds on the clock, we can see Valutar just setting himself up. We're going into the second half, and just think, if Epsilon can come back in the same way they did on Zavod, we could possibly see Epsilon trying to secure it in 3. And this is not right. This is already a sign of the Fnatic camp starting to waver. They're losing that confidence. They're losing what makes them Fnatic, what separates them from the pack, and the defending champions are showing a weakness that we haven't seen before.
That is unbelievable for Valu to not get that jump in the bag. That's unreal. Even just to get a little bit of control basically to where Duke is, to stop him getting a foothold towards the A building, but not to be happening. And now Fnatic have a little bit of a harder struggle as David worms his way up the street. He gets caught in the heels by Unfixed, but I'm not sure if Fnatic quite have the right mentality just yet. They need to get control of this lead, and Epsilon will be coming into this half with very soon.
Yeah, and there you go, immediately. Valutar trying to cap it for his team. He has managed to bring the B site under control, but the mindset cannot be there. Fnatic, I mean, this is a team that do not fail boosts. This is a team that do not crumble when they start trying to take control of the B site. It's happened already, though. David straight away picking up that B site, and look at the greedy Epsilon. They've got their eyes set on A.
Yeah, but it's here we go. The reinforcements came in towards A. Perfect. Fnatic want to challenge A, get C, and maybe then work up the road. Try and pincer in the Epsilon boys, but they lost every one-on-one. Trunks goes down, and more. Now too easy. Left to take down 3. He's basically stuck in no man's land with no chance of a cap. He goes down, and that's a lot of tickets wasted. Valu and Unfixed was going, guys, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge misstep by Fnatic. They're relying on these 1v1s, which they normally win, and instead, all it's doing is costing them time and tickets. Epsilon surely are going to take a huge chunk of tickets away before Fnatic stabilize. A and B still under Epsilon control, and they want to keep this rolling for as long as possible. As Drunks dives down, trying to pick up a frag, he does eventually onto Horek. It cost him positioning, and it cost him time, though, and that's going to be enough time for Horek to surely spawn back on A.
Well, you'd think so, but maybe there's a chance for David to get there before, but Valu en route, and I believe Drunks as well. So 3 Fnatic players moving in, but Valu not winning out in that 1v1 is... it wasn't Valu, excuse me, but there we go. He gets picked up regardless on the flank. And this is very un-Fnatic-like. Epsilon are playing phenomenally, and they might get a trip cap. They've lost 10 tickets, that is it. And Fnatic have lost so much from the initial 2-minute start. I've got to hear Fnatic right now. They are not going to be in a good way.
I got a C spawn around.
Guys, you got highway.
Highway, I think one upper highway, not...
One step up.
On your back, spawn it, on your left. From C.
Get a flag, guys.
Yeah, he's dead. And now step up.
B.
Highway.
Let's get gallery.
In revive.
Spawn them on B,
2 down,
please.
step up.
B flag, 2 guys, 2 B. 2 on B.
Revive.
One down.
Tetris, guys, Tetris.
Push,
Yes,
Marcus,
going back
push.
to...
Get it now. Go back to A. Low.
Pick up.
C, guys.
One
Go
office.
back. I'm taking B. One on C. Office.
One in.
C, one low.
Upper C down.
One down, one more office.
One is up C.
C flag. Down. I got
down,
C
two down.
Okay.
Guys,
Office.
go
Bridge,
away.
baby. Bridge.
Go away one as well then.
Step
Hold it
up.
now,
Hold it now, guys, being the call there from Too Easy. Trying to get these guys to play a little calmer. They really don't seem to be playing the game, and Epsilon are just pushing them so much.
Yeah, they seem sporadic, they seem out of place. And Epsilon, this is the Epsilon effect at the moment. They seem to be able to affect any team they go up against. SK is the name that comes to mind. Epsilon, they go up against you, and they just seem to be this mindset-breaking, mind-changing power, which seems to kind of throw off the teams who I've always credited as being those calm, cool, collected teams. Fnatic, they're wavering. 122 to 83, that 7-ticket advantage may mean absolutely nothing if Epsilon maintain this pace. They have the B site. They're looking to actually trade it off as they are going to take C away, and Fnatic, in response, are going to take B. But I think this is still reactive play from Fnatic, and Epsilon setting the pace.
They certainly are. They're already getting ready to reinforce onto A, sending 2 players up there. And in response, Too Easy comes back, but he's a little bit late to the party. He goes down, fluffs the shot. That is very uncharacteristic. And I've got to say it, if this game keeps up at this pace, Epsilon may just win this game and put Fnatic down here. We told you the story of revenge, and I think Epsilon are taking that with both hands. I've got to hear it from their side right now.
Okay, two.
The word.
Oh, he's in the flag. Oh my fuck. Still B flag.
Do we have?
B flag.
There's still on
We need the
highway.
highway. We need the highway. Where's the random?
Fuck, I shot. Don't spawn me.
Let me go.
Behind.
Behind.
It's getting a little pressure now. Valu getting the double is going to And then push these guys a little further, and you've got to say it, Fnatic are playing scrappy, but they're starting to get back into this one slowly but surely. But still, look at that lead Epsilon have forged. They
are forging it, and they're trying to maintain it. The BC sites are falling away. Fnatic keeping hold. And Fnatic need to keep hold of these for a long time. Not going to see a trip cap. The dream was there, but of course Epsilon getting those back spawns, going to be jumping straight on that C flag. Still, this is the first time in a while we've seen Fnatic with a bit of power. They have control of A and B. And the Epsilon side, who have been pretty much entirely in control, are starting to try and maybe pick somewhere else. Not that B site. Maybe go for this AC hold that's been throwing Fnatic in the past. It looks like they're doing just that. Duke at the forefront of this one. Oh, you missed it, but he puts a bullet with the Rex into Valutaja, and that's all you need. That one bullet pop opens up the A site, and it's just one pull of the trigger can very well start the bleed once more.
Certainly is. Warwick trying to play smart here. Look at this sneaky play. I think he's been spotted, though. His position was found. But still, regardless of one player, look at Epsilon. Straight away, A and B being held. Fnatic tried to fall back to their standard tactics, but it just doesn't work. Epsilon know how to counter it because they play the same. Fnatic need to find a new bag of tricks because they're just not doing the job at the moment. And let's see if they can find any more, because Epsilon are on the verge of winning map number 2 here. I've got to say it, 50 tickets is not far to fall at this pace, and this may be a trip cap. If Duke can hold on to this site, that means that it's going to be a triple cap coming in for Epsilon. I think Fnatic just get a touch on towards B, but still, they're held at a disadvantage, and there's not that many tickets left to play with.
This is a repeat of Zavod. Fnatic start with a strong-ish first half. Admittedly, 7 tickets may not be the strongest. Zavod's 50, was it 53? Still, Epsilon unfazed. This is something I love to see in a team. They have no issues coming into this one with a whole fresh mindset, and it's working so well for them. 88 now to 39. Epsilon with such a huge lead, and by maintaining this AC hold, and as I say that, in fact, it gets taken away by Mort, and now it's interesting. Let's turn our attention to Epsilon and how they approach this B recap.
They already have pressure on the highway. They have 2 players working back in, David, and I think he's in a better position than most of Fnatic. He has, however, forgotten there's still maybe 1 player on the balcony, but he's on the site anyway. Fnatic needs to get him off this pretty fast, and it's pretty damn hard unless you want to give up pretty much your entire time there. But the back spawn comes in, and Epsilon are utilizing the spawns well. They're going to get C, and Fnatic are in no position to push. They have to fall back. They have to try and defend this one, and they're just not doing it. The pressure is applied everywhere. Just look at this Duke. Feels confident enough just to walk into B. They're going to get C, and this 72 to 33 scoreline is going to change drastically. Fnatic finally wake up and get towards A, but it may be too late.
Very well, maybe too late. Fnatic, time is of the essence, and I mean, time is money. Fnatic could very well be falling away from that 10 grand first prize if they stumble at this second map hurdle. It's not looking fantastic for them. 71 to 25, and Fnatic, everything they seem to be trying, Epsilon has an answer for. At least in this instance, you can see Drunks has made his way onto the B flag, and once again we're going to see Epsilon's response to that, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a push by Duke from the outskirts of B.
Let's see if that works. So 20 tickets left for Fnatic. They're on the verge of walking away with a loss here 2 times now. And that puts you horrifically close to losing out, and they know that. Here comes the counterplay from Epsilon, coming back in towards the side. Fnatic needs to play substantially better than this. There's no one else near the side to really do much. Mort gets the back spawn, but 19 tickets is all Fnatic have to work with. Can they turn it around is the bigger question, but the kills come in, say a resounding no. Fnatic are struggling, they're floundering here, and Epsilon are a mere couple of tickets away from this. A 2-1 hold for Fnatic, but I don't see it being maintained unless Valu pulls off the impossible.
This should not be happening. Fnatic are not in the right place at the moment. This is a second map. Fnatic should be kind of applying some sort of pressure that they couldn't in the first. All I'm seeing is Epsilon playing out of their minds at the moment. Valutaja, a player who usually has an answer for everything, is struggling to find a way in towards that B site. Fnatic do have the AC hold, and the bleed is now on. Epsilon well aware that they need to stave this bleed off fast, as Fnatic are heading for that trip cap. But looks like David on the A flag.
Oh, the double for Unfix was massive on C.
Exactly, and exactly the same thing was going on in A. In the meantime, the trip cap has come in, and Fnatic may possibly still be in this, but with only 14 tickets left, this means Epsilon are in a really tight spot.
This is huge. Epsilon have a couple of pushes in them, maybe 1 or 2. Let's see if Valu can withstand the onslaught. 4 players moving, gets a spot, doesn't shoot. Maybe he should have, as here comes Epsilon pushing back in. Remember, 7 is their limit, but can they turn it in time, Alex?
It really is. It's all up in the air at the moment. Mayek trying to get a pick on the outside. This is a huge frag, but he doesn't have time. He's got the Ace 23. It's a weapon he can use at that medium range. Instead, though, he's really struggling struggling to find a way into this B site. They know they've got to control B now. So does Fnatic, though, and perhaps they're going to try and make a push from the A site instead, as the B flag is already been neutralized.
Massive.
Oh, the nade! Fnatic, you can hear them cheering from the other room. They know what that means. But look at this. Sneaky cap, unfixed, all falls to him. 1v1s have never meant so much in Battlefield before, and a 2v2 on A as well. It's all happening at once, and it's 20-10. 10 tickets for Fnatic, and it's only a 13 for Epsilon.
This is coming down to the wire here. Valu left to deal with AC. Is being capped over by Fnatic right now. This could be a 2-1, but at what cost? Epsilon have 3 players standing. Valu goes down. A is Epsilon's. B's being capped over. I think they've just about done this. Epsilon on the verge of beating Fnatic in the second map here. This would be phenomenal stuff. 2 easy moves in. I think they've done it. There's only 2 players standing. Fnatic can't turn this one around. That is perfectly done from Epsilon.
The last ticket tips away. Fantastic stuff. Epsilon, you can see a big exhale. They must have been holding their breath in that last 20 seconds. That trip cap from Fnatic must have just tipped them over the edge into a kind of a panic state, but they managed to stabilize. They bring the second map to control, and I mean, that is danger time for Fnatic. No smiles on their side of things. That relaxed attitude is a history, and at the moment, Fnatic need to go back to the drawing board for map number 3. It's going to be Paracel Storm.
Scary map as well, let's put it that way. Epsilon, can you believe it? Possibly turning this one around against the odds, against history's story of how this should go. They've turned up and done the damage.
They've turned up, and we'll see if that damage can continue right after a very short break, guys. We'll see you in 1. And so, Fnatic, it all comes down to map number 3. If they stumble at this hurdle, we are going to see Epsilon in a 3-0 sweep, securing the €10,000 grand prize in the ESL One fall season. It's been a pretty crazy ride for them so far. Lauren,
yeah,
talking to Paracel Storm, let's see what they're going to be able to bring on this one.
I wish I could tell you in logic or whatever it would be how this should go down, but Fnatic aren't playing like they should be at all. They're being pushed on every front. Epsilon have never had a game like this, but you can see how much it means to them. To just know how much they've had to change and how much they've adjusted just for this game, just for this match, to change lineups, to change rosters, to finally have every tool at their fingertips to be able to close this out. This is huge for them.
This is huge for them. You see that you heard the roar coming from the Epsilon side as soon as that last ticket fell. Yep. I mean, it means so much to them. Don't forget, this is a grudge match. This is a revenge match. This happened in the spring of 2014, this exact same grand final. Fnatic emerged victorious after a 3-0 sweep. Can Epsilon do exactly the same to them here in the fall season?
Well, we are moments away from finding out. Fnatic just need to calm the hell down. They are playing a game that they don't normally play. They don't get flustered. They don't get nervous. They play the smart style. They play the calm style. They play the style that throws everyone else off. But finally, Epsilon have just smoothed out every issue they have had. They've dropped maps through this in the offline series, but it doesn't matter when it comes down to moments like this. Epsilon have turned up and turned it on the final couple of moments. And David there on your screen's a man who can barely stop the smile from creeping onto his face, looking like he's ready to win. the offline season. As you can see, the cup would be hoisted by him if it does get done. We'll have to wait and see, as this is still a best of 5, but let's put it into real terms now. This would have to go all the way for Fnatic to turn it around. If they wanted a challenge, this is it. And it has to happen now.
It has to happen immediately, you're not wrong. I mean, if Fnatic don't even start strong, you know what, that we tuned into their communications before, and you already heard. They sound to be wavering. They sound like they're not the Fnatic that we know and we love. And so going into this one, if they don't start strong, I think that's going to be that knock to their confidence that may tip them over the edge into that second place finish. And that is not a place we're used to seeing Fnatic. 2 times defending champion of this ESL One tournament. And I mean, they don't need an introduction, but I'm going to do the roster rundown. You can see Marsu, Horek, David, Mayek, and Duke BT on the Epsilon side of things, all standing out so very strong in this grand final. Lauren, why don't you walk us through Fnatic?
Unfixed, Mort, Drunks, Value, and Too Easy. Familiar faces to anyone who watches the Battlefield ESL One finals, often appearing at the very last game. But this is go time.
This is go time. We are into map 3. This could very well be us waving goodbye to Fnatic and Epsilon, raising that cup and celebrating for the first time the victors of the ESL One Battlefield series. And what a series it has been for them. We'll see if they can close it out as we go into this map. Lauren, why don't you walk us through what they're trying to push? It looks like they're heading to B.
Yeah, it's a weird split coming out from Fnatic. They've lightened their presence on A and put a substantial amount towards B. I think they're going for an early trip cap here. These guys aren't messing around. They want to really get control of this game, and they've done it. They near on squad wiped Epsilon, so they will get the early trip cap. Unmaintainable, but they're in a good hold for maybe locking down, I'd say, B and A. So they're going to put players back towards A. They currently have Unfixed out here. Give them time, give them the win in these buildings, and they'll maintain it. Unfixed wins the 1v1. And the reason I say this was because Mort was actually in the singular building. Now, however, pushed up to C. They want to keep this.
Hello, Fnatic. You said they couldn't hold on to it. It looks like they're going to try. Mort does fall, though. Duke, with his AEK, picks up that C site, and that's a step in the right direction for Epsilon. Still, we said they had to start strong. Fnatic have, and a team that works so very well off momentum are starting with a bang.
Yeah, and as the storm starts to roll in, Fnatic may just be emerging 20 ticket near on advantage already by maintaining that trip cap for so long. But here comes the turn of events and the turn of the tide, as David will be claiming over that B flag. Nicely done, and that will regain control of the map for them. However, it's down to where Fnatic respawn here. They have a good, considerable amount of control of the buildings, but there we go. That's a nice spawn. They get an option of going for C. Normally it's Value who goes towards this, but this time Drunks fancies his chances, goes in, med pack down, but under suppressing fire, you're not going to get it. Unfixed with the double. Nice work there, but 2-1. Not going to get much more, and they could get locked out of this if they don't start playing for a site.
Fnatic need to make a move quickly. It looks like Mortis going to do just that, straight onto that B site. If Epsilon had stabilized there, that would have been the first nail in the Fnatic coffin. Instead, though, Fnatic repurposing and rebuilding this B hold as they're going to set themselves up along that beach area. Something we don't so often see, but they're making it work. Unfixed in that building's making it work as well, as you can already see him chucking an aid out to support his comrades on that B site. He hasn't really been pushed by Epsilon yet. You haven't seen too much of it, but it's a great pick onto Marsu in the meantime. And that A site is completely undefended.
It certainly is, but they're defending it from these buildings. And finally, we are seeing a player, David, heading out towards it, maybe reading the situation well, but Too Easy might... Oh, he's got an idea, but he doesn't get the spot. He's going to be moving in. He knows it's being captured now. He's hot on their heels, so they shouldn't be able to set up too easily. But let's see if he can actually pick up any kills. Spots one out on the side. He's got support now. Coming in, flying in, should I say, is Moore. Picks up one. He's going for the double. It's down to it. Who is that? Is that David? Well, it was David, and they pick up the kills, and they get it under wraps. They already have Drunks ready to defend on B. Epsilon are in for a tough ride this time. 128-95.
They are really, Fnatic giving it everything they possibly can. And I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't. This is quite possibly going to be their last game here. If it wraps up here, this is the grand final. Do not forget that Epsilon have secured the previous 2 maps. And you can see it on your screens. Fnatic are starting to change it up here. 128-85. 8 and B still flying the Fnatic flag. And I don't think Epsilon are going to try that B again. It hasn't worked for them so far.
Let's hear it from Fnatic how it's going down there, because I can hear Drunks from this studio.
Nice, up looks there. Let's push that guy.
Mid, jump out. Nowhere. I'm low, jump out. Yeah, under me.
Off look, alright, off look, see that.
Junk spotted.
Alright, good job.
Two low, 1 HP, 1 HP.
2 of look.
Jump to A, guys.
2 of look, guys. 2 of look.
2 HP. Guys, Somewhere on mid, one more.
One on A.
I don't know
One
where. Got that one.
Nice!
Close
On
to me.
mid, 34 HP.
Nice, get C.
Nice.
Push C, guys. Push C already. I'll go.
I'm
Go
gonna...
C.
Two guys A. Two guys A.
Okay.
Fast and furious calling from Fnatic there, looking like they want to close this out. A quick call to get towards C, and it's going to be Mort listening to the commands.
Yeah, Mort moving so very well through this map. He seems to go pretty undetected until he wants to be seen and then picks up the frags.
Yeah.
Got the Ace-23 is a weapon that is so common. And if ever, like I was going to highlight a team that knows how to use the Ace-23 more than most, it's most definitely Fnatic. Correct, though, for Epsilon, showing what other weapons are in his arsenal. It's the CZ3A1, and he's got that laser sight, of course, for the extra hip fire, which he seems to connect no matter what, as he is, of course, once again on that C flag. Going to be capturing that one over. It's potential trip cap here, as it's starting to look like a different horizon for Epsilon.
Yeah, and they need to start doing that now. The tickets that were getting out of control. Nice nades from Value, though, opening up on towards B. They do not, however, have any control of those buildings until, I believe, Too Easy and Co. maybe went for an exchange up there. Yes, it was Unfixed and Do going for the clean exchange. So they have a footstep back into this, but they're overmatched on the other side. C is not in their control. That's got 3 players on it. Now, maybe Fnatic can read that and send a player out towards A. I think Drunks is eyeing it up, but there's still players here, and it's given time for Epsilon to get back for an attack on B.
Yeah, and this attack on B is really make or break for Epsilon. We know, of course, they are not phased by these deficits. If Fnatic was to have, say, a 50-ticket lead, that's not necessarily the end of the story, but still, Fnatic do not want to let this one slip. Every ticket matters for this team at the moment. This is the closest they've been to not winning a tournament in far too long. Fnatic trying to clear out this C flag, putting bullets down, trying to spread away the offensive players, and they do just that. Mayek falls courtesy of Too Easy on that C flag. In the meantime, Duke trying to make it happen on that monument. Such a tough site to push on your own. You need that team effort. At the moment, B and C still flying for Fnatic.
Let's have a little listen to Epsilon just to see how it's going down in their team.
Can't see me, mate. It's a container.
In the container, probably.
It's behind. Down.
Nice.
Oh, we lost it too.
Okay,
Wait,
get hoses, please. Get water.
Get alone. Get the houses first.
Solo.
Well, you can hear the difference. Fnatic pumped up, calling everything. And then Epsilon a little down. Maybe they start shining when the pressure's truly on in the second half, but they are sounding a little bit quiet compared to how they sounded before. But with 24 tickets left and a 96-ticket lead against them, this might be going all the way, Alex.
I think you might be right. We were looking at the possibility of that 3-0 sweep, and at the moment, Fnatic with a lead like this, 95, it's so huge. It's not insurmountable by any means, but the greatest lead that we've seen at Epsilon take Fnatic on was 53, and that was right here in this grand final. So 94-19. It's really, I think I'd say they've got about 1 push in them here, Lauren.
I can't agree more, and they're not deciding where to go, and look at that, just
Indecision.
decisive. Yeah, exactly. Indecision from Epsilon and decisive play from Fnatic to send Unfixed straight out towards A to pick it up, to close this one out as quick as possible. They want a solid lead coming in towards that second half. 9 tickets remain for Epsilon. They're trying to put out fires on every single front. But looking at this, they've just about closed down on A, but there's still players coming in for Fnatic. Mort still stands, but for how long? He finally goes down in a clean exchange. But there we have it. More members of Fnatic will come and pick it up, but B's not quite over yet. So maybe they can chip away at this 90-ticket lead.
They want to bring it as low as possible, but I mean, they're into spawn saving right now. Duke's already gone down. They cannot afford to respawn him. 4 players remain. They have that BC hold, and that's just going to mean that that 90 should shrink somewhat, actually. They do seem to be holding on to it quite well. There's only 3 members remain. Marsu, Mayek, and Duke. They're holding on to these spawns for as long as they possibly can. They're also holding on to these sites. For some reason, that B flag hasn't fallen just yet. Fnatic still trying to find a way in, and the C and B flags are still being held by Epsilon. They're chunking this number down. 2 tickets remain, but they've got the spawns. They chose to bring David back from the grave to defend these flags just that little bit longer, and it's a wise move. That number is still not falling. 75. It was 90. Do not forget this.
Indeed, down to the last couple of players here. We are seeing 1 ticket left, and Fnatic just about close it out. But a sigh of relief rather than the cheer of joy. 74.5. It should be a closed out 3rd map here now for Fnatic going into the 4th, but you never know with Epsilon.
It should. That is very much a key word in this instance. Epsilon have surprised us time and time again, and that's just in this grand final, never mind in the steps to get here. But yes, you're right. This should really go in favor of Fnatic. 74 tickets. It's both of the end scores for Fnatic are the smallest I think we've seen in their games on leading up to this grand final. And I mean, rightfully so, the two teams who deserve to be in the final are here, and they are bringing it, both of them bringing pretty much 100%. Epsilon wavering a little bit here, which is a slight worry to me, but regardless, they really are struggling against the new Fnatic, who seem to have maybe gathered there some resources and are approaching it with a bit of a fresh face. The TS sounded better, and that's a big deal.
It certainly is, as they are such an emotional side as well. You don't see it, and we were having this discussion outside. Sometimes the players that you see, looking the calmest and kind of being the ones to look always so under wraps, that if it does break, they become the ones that can be the downfall. That's the difference. So we'll have to wait and see if Fnatic can keep themselves calm, keep themselves in this game, because it's now down to them. They've got everything to lose here.
They do. Everything to lose, and Epsilon have everything to prove.
Yes.
They're a team that had it snatched away from them, and everyone was saying that was the right win. Fnatic, the right team, won in the spring 2014. And here, as we look towards the fall season, this all comes down to Epsilon. If they can secure this, if they can stop the Fnatic pain train from making its way to that fourth map, then this really is make or break for Epsilon. They can really prove themselves and finally get that top spot that they have fought so hard for over so many.
Yeah, it's not exactly a new thing for these guys. And once again, the faces of the men you'll be watching ready now. Possibly close out the game for Epsilon if they can overcome a huge hurdle.
It is a huge hurdle, 74 to be precise. I don't know what that is, 74 inches perhaps? It's a big hurdle regardless. But the challenge for them as they go into this one is basically to control themselves. I don't think they have to worry too much about Fnatic. Fnatic will play the same game they just did. Epsilon need to approach this with maybe a different set of eyes. Maybe set their hearts on A a bit more. I felt like they kind of gave Fnatic that, and Fnatic held onto it for a lot longer than I'd expect. Still, let's kick this one off, guys. We're going into that third map, second half. Let's see how far they can push this.
Well, it's all eyes on Epsilon for me. Let's see if they can close out this game and actually win this on this very map. Let's take a little bit of a look at the start they've gone for. C is a gifted site to the US side, which is Epsilon, but they did bully through on towards A. So pretty much a good 2-to-1 play, but no one wants A and C. They don't work well together. They want the B flag in that mix, and Duke is doing the damage to get it under wraps. Picking up David in that kill, picking up Drunks in that kill, and now opening up towards the rest of it, trying to gain control. Horek in on towards B. They maintained A, but there's still Fnatic members within that double building, which could cause a lot of trouble.
And trouble is really the middle name for Fnatic at the moment. They're trying to find a way into B. And they're struggling, no doubt about it, that this B site this time looks a lot better covered than Epsilon did in the past. Perhaps this is the Epsilon that were holding on to that B site at the end of the first half, when Fnatic seemed to find it pretty difficult to make their way into this one. Still, A flag is being contested at the moment. Fnatic have made their move on towards that one. And instead, you can see one man is already on his way to C.
Yeah, that was Mayak going round. Doesn't get much out of it, but it did buy time for the rest of Epsilon to get up towards the north and pick up on towards C. So B now being pressured, Fnatic responding accordingly, going to get over towards it and try and get that one in their control. The double building is in the hands of Fnatic, so Epsilon will be fighting that vertical disadvantage, but Duke bring it back down to his level, picks up the kill, and allows the rest of Epsilon to move in towards the site, maybe turning this 2-to-1 in their favor. But let's see how the brawl does now go down. Mayak still fighting it out, and Fnatic might be just pressured out on this one.
And they seem so fixed on holding this lane. Too easy. He's just thrown his body back on the site. It has actually come to a conclusion, and he's come out on top. It's 135 to 130. Fnatic, this lead from the first half may very well carry them into the next map, which of course will be Siege of Shanghai, a map we know Fnatic are incredibly strong on, as are Epsilon. But then again, I feel like we are repeating ourselves, because pretty much every map both these teams are so strong on.
They certainly are. As much as I like seeing Epsilon now keeping up with the pace, picking up the 2-to-1s, getting clean exchanges, they can't sit at equal tickets. They need another Zavod. They need another Dawnbreaker. They have to be absolutely perfect in this one, and getting near on squad wiped is certainly not that. So a 2-to-1 hold in favor to Fnatic with a well set up position.
Yep, it's a really strong play from them, as Fnatic so hungry to close this one out quickly. I don't think Epsilon really have much time to think at the moment. They're making split decisions, which this time are not working in their favor. Because he can get caught off by too easy. Shut down quite easily, actually, believe it or not, by too easy. And Horek maybe looking to change his mind. They know the B side doesn't work. Lands the tag with the Magnum, not something you so often see, but still tags left, right, and center for Epsilon. They're having issues. It's taking down the Fnatic players, never mind pushing the sites. And of course, when you look at towards the kills, it really does tell the same story. 24 in favor of Fnatic, make it 25, and just 16 for Epsilon.
Well, let's just remind people at home as well, 74 is the threshold here for Epsilon. If the side on the left side of your screen's Epsilon, the US team drop below 74. We're going to another map, but still, they are on game point. One more map, and they have won this. But let's see what they can bring to the forefront here. They've been locked out of this 2-1 for some time. Epsilon having to opt for the longer route. And let's hear it from the Fnatic side, who might just pick this map up.
Focus now,
I don't see
focus.
them, I don't see them.
Could be circle.
The junk is clear still.
Hey, behind there, tower.
I'll get C, I'll get C. Yeah,
Pick it bells, for sure.
I have C.
Very low, spotted.
B spotted, B spotted, B
Pick
spotted.
it bells. Spotted, he's on L.
I got one.
One more, B. Between the containers.
Did you get a pick it bells guy or what?
One more on A, one more, nice.
On B, spotted. I'm getting
B,
waiting.
guys.
Well, they're getting damn close now. Those tickets are pretty much done for on the Epsilon side. 74 is not far away, Alex. They've done the job.
Come on, guys.
Fantastic Fnatic. Wrapping that one up, putting a bow on it and saying we're not out of this one just yet. You can see as it comes to a close, Epsilon are going to have to take it into that fourth map. Fnatic forcing them away from that 3-0 sweep. So it's not going to be a repeat. We're not going to see Epsilon a true revenge getting a 3-0 sweep against those that did it to them in the spring season. But still, Epsilon with that chance, they're still so close to being able to put this out. And you can see David knows they're just one step away from knocking Fnatic out of the grand final.
But how often do we say that that last step is often the hardest? When you get to that match point marker, you always know that you're going to be getting just that little bit harder point. You know, getting that match point, you know, on that last round, those last kills, always the hardest to get. Well, Fnatic, they know that. They've been in that position before. Can they punish Epsilon for that? Because I'm not sure if Epsilon can say the same thing. They don't know that always the last hurdle is the hardest. And we say it all the time. Once you're on that, you know, 15 rounds, 12, whatever it is in whichever game, you know that is the really difficult one to get.
Oh yeah, it counts for so much, and that's it plays on those minds. You see, I mean, it's almost unconscious sometimes. Players play differently. Their play style begins to get changed up, and that is a huge issue when it comes into wrapping it up, finishing off. Especially in Battlefield, you have some fantastic finals in the past. That becomes a huge issue. It's going to start playing on Epsilon's mind, but it also means that the pressure is on for Fnatic. But they seemed unfazed in that one. They went into Paracel Storm knowing that they would have to win 3 maps in a row. 3 maps in a row in order to come out victorious and take that grand final prize. But it doesn't seem to be phasing them too much at all. 74 tickets in the half, wrapping it up quite quickly in the second. Really strong play.
Definitely strong play there, and these boys just need to have a second to think things through. Obviously, just trying to work things out.
Need to work things out, and so will we, guys. We're going to throw to a very short break, but do not go anywhere as we continue this grand final and the ESL One Battlefield 4 fall season.
Sky 5 can confirm a large police presence in downtown Los Angeles.
We got an RPG!
All units, we have confirmation that a 211 is underway.
Your charge is good! Go, go, go!
Suspects are moving with the package. Take them down.
All right, we're good to go on the grapple. Hit that area now! Hey, have the right to remain silent.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESL One Battlefield 4 full finals for 2014. We're roughly halfway through the grand final, or we might be halfway through the grand final. 2-1 right now. So actually, it's technically more than halfway. I don't know, whatever. It's a long day. Not where we would have expected this game to be right now. First two maps being absolutely destroyed by Epsilon. What was going on for Fnatic, do you think?
I just want to first of all say, I think I had Epsilon winning, didn't I? When we
Really?
talked about
Did you?
I had them winning 3-1.
Don't think you had Fnatic winning 3-1?
I might have.
May have been.
It's nice. Okay, well, first of all, it's nice to see someone actually challenge Fnatic.
Yes.
I mean, offline, they were undefeatable until now. They've shown a little bit of blood. They've shown that they're mortal, and Epsilon kind of pounced on that. And I was talking before with Machine saying, you know, there has to be something that Epsilon prepared for. Like, did they prepare for Fnatic? You obviously can't assume Fnatic are going to make their way through. You can kind of maybe guess at it and have something up your sleeve. And didn't seem like it was anything tricky out of Epsilon, but they caught Fnatic off guard. And once they got on tilt, you know, Too Easy is the one to point out in particular. I hope he's not listening to me.
He can't
might get a little angry.
Talk quietly.
Well, supposedly when he gets pissed off, he plays on tilt, and it drags everyone else down. And if you do kind of annoy him like that, I don't know if you're throwing things at him from your desks, from Epsilon's side or something, then it can really catch him off guard. I mean, Fnatic, they pulled it back on Paris of Storm, one of their strongest maps.
Yep.
But still, I mean, no one really expected them to be down 2-1 here in the finals.
Okay, but then let's look forward. Locker's next. It's a strong Fnatic map. They've done some dastardly deeds on this map before.
Yeah.
So in theory, we should be looking at 2-2. And then we move on to Shanghai, which, well, have you got a coin? Because we might as well just flip it and see who wins.
Got one better. Let's do this. Let's flip my phone.
Really? Whoa.
No,
that's
I kind of want that.
Very dangerous. But we could be heading for 5 maps.
Yeah. So Siege Shanghai, let's assume we get there. Let's talk about that map, because that one, I think, is going to be a little bit more balanced between the two teams. You have Drunks, who was so happy about that map yesterday when we were talking to him after the show. He seems to really like that map, and as most or all of Fnatic really like it as well. But it's also a big frag map for like Mayak, who's been playing these, you put him in a position, and you just leave him there to hold on to it, and you most likely keep it. Like, he'll put up big numbers if he's able to get into a little bit of a flow. On this map, if you keep him at something like B, you know, in the back behind the cars, behind some cover, I find it really hard to retake that from him. I think it's going to be probably one of the closest maps. Obviously not that ridiculous map number 2 that we had coming down to the wire, but if I were to guess, if they do get to a map 5, hold on.
He's going to
Fnatic.
Really?
I flipped my phone.
You flipped the phone? It's Fnatic.
Still keeping it them.
Okay, from the expert desk, then expert analysis. Jason is sticking with Fnatic, despite the fact that he said 3-1. It's definitely not going to be 3-1. And we'll head back to the commentary team for potentially 2 more maps of the grand final. Let's find out and see who takes the full championship.
Let's see where this one goes. It's you're right, it's not going to be 3-1 to Fnatic, Jason. A great idea, but I mean, to be fair, Epsilon have surprised us both.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it, though. Yeah, they surprised us in the semis, and we were like, for some reason, we ruled them out of surprising us in the finals. Yeah, but they've done it again.
Let me just put it this way as well. Calling Jason an expert near a desk, I'm not sure if that really works. I think it's ambitious. It's very kind of you, Paul, but I'm not sure. Maths alone is currently holding him back from making his scoreline true, but, you know, don't worry about that. Okay, Jason. Jason's just like, I really enjoy your casting, Lauren. It's great. We're super happy. So far, let's see how this one goes down. I'm not sure, because Locker's been a bit of a tough map for Fnatic. It used to be one of their best. Now not so much. They've let it slip a little way, and this was probably the closest game they had in the run towards this, where they merely got like a 30-ticket lead. So I'm not sure that Locker is the place for them.
No, I'm not sure either. 30 seconds is on that countdown. You can see Locker is a place where it could go either way. It's a map we saw Epsilon play fantastically on just, well, not too long ago up against in the semis. It was, sorry, up against SK in the semis. And then you look towards Fnatic, a team who, I mean, there isn't a bad map in it. You were speaking to Drunks earlier, and you said the only map that they really outlined as a map they would rather not play is Zavod. And that's been and gone. Yes, Epsilon picked that one up. They picked up the second on Dawnbreaker, but we've passed through Storm now. They've weathered the storm, and they're into map number 4.
Certainly have, and I'm very interested to see how this goes. But ladies and gents, we are underway. Epsilon still on game point here. They still have enough maps under the belt. If they pick this up, they are our champions. But Fnatic stand in their way, and so far, they're off to a good start.
Looking to defend their cup, Drunks and Co. trying to make a push for that C flag. It looks like it's actually going to go over to Epsilon, though. And so as all of is said and done, the A and C flag start flying for Epsilon. Can they maintain this, though? It looks like it's going to be tough, as Fnatic are already making moves in that middle corridor.
Oh, Horek, though, comes around the backside, picks up the exchange with Too Easy, who fluffed his shot, something you don't often see. But B is now being challenged. A nice initial work from Drunks to head back, and look at that. Mort out on that C point. That could have been a trip cap if they wanted, but they're just going to buy time and make sure they lock out these two, and they need to. Unfix is a little far forward for my taste. I think he should have fallen back, but they do at least have Drunks in position in that snake area, or the S-bend, whatever you want to call it, but no one's watching mid, which means Mort is going to be under severe pressure very soon.
Yeah, I think he knows. You can see he's being very hesitant to peek out from those rocks. Maybe, actually, I think he's caused the Epsilon player to retreat. Oh no, it was all a play, it was all a play, it was all a bait, and the CZ was all it took to put Mort to bed. And now on the A side, looks like that's Valotage's defense is going to get questioned. In fact, it's kind of an offensive defense. He's pushed all the way up to the metal detectors. No, what's he doing? He's abandoned A. A is completely unguarded. Surely an Epsilon player is going to make a move for that. Actually, it looks like it's worked out pretty well for Valu if he can retake this site. One man is there to stand between them, though, and he's putting the bullets in. Finally connects with the last bullet from his magazine, and then as a 2v2 emerges, Mayek trying to make a way into the infirmary. Nade stands between him, though, and that flag.
Yeah, Horex joined him as well, so it's a 2v2 here. Valu wins out as well. Mayek does end up going down, but now 4v2. This is up against the odds. Fnatic surely can't hold this trip cap for much longer. They are out to prove a point, but maybe they're overextending just for the sake of it. But here's Too Easy, watching the push up through mid. Didn't have enough bullets in the gun. That is a huge error, allowing Epsilon to slip through and possibly get a 2-1 here.
Epsilon need it. Both teams seem pretty inseparable at the moment. Fnatic do have that BC hold, though, and the bleed is on. Tickets falling from Epsilon. Need to stave this bleed off before it becomes another Fnatic lead. We don't want to see a repeat of Paracel Storm. It was something that they seemed so good at when Fnatic start and have that, what is it, usually about 20 so tickets in the start, and then Fnatic tips it constantly, extending that lead, and we're going to try and avoid that as much as possible, or at least Epsilon are, as 114 to 125, it may very well be happening again. Not so much, though, and not so fast as that C flag starts getting capped over.
Finally, as well. That should have been taken a long time ago, but now Fnatic had the opportunity to maintain on C, claim B, and then get back to A. Perfect shot from Mort. Will deal with the one player, but will he expect the second? David just bowls in, takes him down. Oh, he doesn't follow up onto Valotage, who locks out A. Once again, integral play from the Estonian beast himself, just completely shutting down the map. But 123 to 104, it's not massive yet. The lead is still within control of Epsilon. They can lock this one down if they need to, but if they can't kill one man, they're definitely not going to do it, and that one man is Valotage at the moment, sitting on an 8-4 scoreline, 3 minutes in, head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yes, and Fnatic, they seem to be back on their A game, and I cannot help but feel the pressure rising in the Epsilon camp. Mort trying to get into a position to capture these two people. You can see on the screen, it's coming up from behind them. The assassin in the snow, looks for a second as well, gets it. Mort diving from there, rock face, and picks up a double, and now straight away, no questions asked, moves towards A.
He's even got a respawn. Valu comes in towards him as well. This is massive stuff. Gonna force Epsilon to make their mind up. Do they want to challenge B for possibly putting out that fire, or are they gonna get trip cap? Duke's in the middle of nowhere. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He's gonna have to try and help out on B. They finally get it, but Mort straight away gets there, gets him down, and Fnatic are back in the driving seat. 2-1 hold. They have C, they have A, but can they hold on to it?
Epsilon can feel the pressure mounting on their shoulders. Fnatic, a team who seem so unfazed by this deficit. They're 2 maps down. It does not seem to be affecting Fnatic whatsoever. This could very well be the first map. They're playing like everything can still be done. And if you take it into consideration, it really can be. Fnatic have everything within their power to still win this one.
They have to turn it around now, though. There's no turning anywhere else. It has to be every single choice in the right place at the right time. And now Fnatic reinforcing onto A. They know that's where the next hit is coming towards. Valu gets one on the way through. Is there any more coming in? 2 more at the gates, willing to push in. C's being pressured. Epsilon doing what they can here, but I just feel they're being outclassed, and mostly as individuals rather than as a team.
You're right, absolutely. As individuals, look at the scores, 41 to 34. still favoring Fnatic, and they're still struggling. They seem to be having no roots into the A site. They are managing to finally cap it over, I think. In fact, no, why am I seeing 3 people run away from A? What's going on here, Lauren?
Because they're lacking that communication, and let's hear it from themselves.
They know you're B.
Why we didn't cap?
Why did they leave?
Oh my god.
Oh no, I
Get me. What the fuck?
Alright, I will cap.
One day.
They don't know what's going on. They've lost that focus, and that's huge. That's the difference between a good team and a great team. Regardless of how close you get, if you can't convert it when it matters and you walk away from a site like A and just give it over to Fnatic, you deserve to be in this position. They're down to 49 tickets. The game is pretty much sealed at this point. It's more, what lead does Fnatic have going into the half?
I am shocked and appalled. Epsilon seems to have lost it completely. They've lost their mindset. They've lost their scoreline. 108 to 42. That's not easily come back. It's not easy to come back from.
Let's see from Fnatic. See how it's going down on their side.
One dead light. One dead light.
One more. Running on you, Amphi.
Back a beat phone, back a beat phone.
T-gate.
Zero.
Mid says dead. Mid says dead.
Hey, they got A, they got A. I spawn back on B.
on C.
Wait, I'm not
Go to C, go to C. I'll go B, I'll go B. Yellow.
It's above me.
Pushing in the back, in the back, in the back. In the back, in the back, in the back.
Yeah, cells in yellow,
Is there
cells in
still?
yellow.
Wow.
Pit.
You got me, you got me, you got me.
Okay, don't get the rape now. Come on.
Come on.
One
low,
flag,
he's
guys,
low.
get one flag first.
One was pit, by the way. Back of B still.
Pit as well. Pit, low on pit, low on pit, low on pit. Against side,
Now, maybe back of B. Upper B.
March was upper.
Come on, guys. Come on.
A gate, A gate, A gate.
Still upper B1.
Yeah, I see.
A gate.
Cell.
Is that
Nice.
Push.
B gate, B gate.
T-gate.
T-gate.
Go for C already, go for C.
A, spawning on A, 2 guys A.
Go with me on C, guys.
One down, one more. On the left, kitchen
What happened to
somewhere.
the big gate guy?
He's
He's there still. He's there.
Wait,
A, kitchen.
B gate down. I got C, guys.
Hold B then, hold B.
Hold B. Spawning
Guys,
red,
get
one
ticket,
jump.
man. Come on.
Don't
It was
die
from
on
A.
there. Don't die on there.
Seal.
Okay, don't die on there. Just don't die on
Seal.
there.
And
Don't let
jump.
them push me.
They're pushing
2 guys
B.
seal. 2 guys
Okay,
seal,
you
one
have to
jump.
push. You have to push A gates, A already.
One
Okay.
seal connector.
Push him.
Push
Come on.
it.
Ace
Let's
there.
do a C.
Finally getting back control at 2-1 as Epsilon did have a trip cap for a small amount of time, and look how much that's equated the tickets back to an even status.
Yeah, they've managed to balance it out. 50 to 100 it was, now 30 to 6. It's still a relatively even ratio. However, you have to consider that that number is just going to be the threshold for the second half. They want to bring that as low as possible. Do not forget, 53 did not phase Epsilon and Zavod. Sorry, they managed to come back from a 53 ticket deficit. So if they can get that number anywhere near as already is, 62. Epsilon just trying to close this one out, and they're doing so well with this BC hold. The bleed is up against Fnatic, and I mean, this surely isn't going to go Epsilon's way.
Don't write him out just yet. Nearon did, but Fnatic are playing a better game, but the scrappy Epsilon knows that they're so close to this. Whenever they actually turn up, they get the job done, but Fnatic have a lot to fight for right now, and I don't like seeing them in that position because you know they can come out on top, but Epsilon fighting hard, picking up on B, and leaving just more. It's 1v1 on A. This is huge. He picks it up, knocks it down, and C's been left open. Epsilon had a chance there to really run this lead to the ground, but where are they going to focus, Alex? I'm not sure.
I don't think Epsilon knows either. They're trying to find a way in. I think the A site's probably the best bet at the moment because every time they try and get C, that one man, that Drunks, in fact, I think it's Drunks again. Every time someone gets C, he strolls out there alone and has no issues recapturing that one. Epsilon making mistakes they can't really afford to make here in this grand final. 30,000 on the line. It looks like they're struggling to control A and B.
This could be a trip cap to end it off with. Nice little hip fire from Unfix. C has been claimed earlier on by Drunks, and even a cheeky pickup from Too Easy down towards B, meaning that Epsilon now have to play the smart game. They have to play controlled around this to try and kind of stem the bleed a little early, but I think they're going to struggle on this one as, well, Fnatic are just in position. They might be able to overwhelm A if they're quick about it. This is their final chance.
This is it. Last push in it. 10 tickets is all they have to work with, and they're going to throw that whole 10 tickets in a big pack towards A. Surely this is their last chance saloon. First on the scene is Duke. Goes down immediately without doing any damage whatsoever. It's not good enough. Epsilon are falling flat at the moment. 6 tickets is all they have in this first half of map number 4. We've got this far already in this best of 5. Epsilon starting so strong, they seem to be stumbling. Last ticket is going to tick away, sorry. 46 on that Russian side, as already just about actually Epsilon managed to balance it out and pick up the B and C. Nope, tell a light. B side gets snatched over. It's 46, and Fnatic start strong once more.
I don't think we've had a series this entire time of going to the 5th map. This is the first time we'll ever see this, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we've ever seen Fnatic pushed this far, and 46 isn't that much of a lead. Let's bear in mind now, the difference is Epsilon can still win this. They can win it in this map, whereas Fnatic need to pick this up and go again. But then, in my eyes, if you let Fnatic get to that 5th map, they've already won it in their minds. They know
100%.
that motivation, that momentum, everything is in their pockets. And Value Taja, 20-11, but Drunks, 9-11.
That's right. Drunks had 9-11, 9 frags. However, he sat at the top of the scoreboard. That shows he was doing that C roll so well. Every time the C flag was captured by Epsilon, straight up, picked it up, retook it, and it didn't take a huge amount of Fnatic resources. It was just Drunks, and being able to just trust one player to stand up and do that, that is how you know you're going to succeed on a map like Locker, where you have that one site that's so far away. And look, you can see Epsilon players kind of rubbing their eyes. David on your screen, as well as Mayek. Mayek's been underperforming as well. I think that's probably playing on his mind. And going into this one, all he can do, I mean, admittedly, they have played a huge amount of Battlefield.
Yeah.
But they need to bring it right now. This is it. They need to close it out before it gets too much.
The thing for me is that Fnatic are a team that you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And Epsilon didn't give them that inch on the first 2 maps. They've opened the floodgates now, though. And somewhere down the line, you'll start seeing Fnatic build and build some more. I want Epsilon to do well. I want them to bring an A game. To be fair, though, I want us to go to a 5th map. I want to be tied up on match point for both sides and then a decider map to come into play. I think that would be phenomenal to watch. But I've got to say it, for the sake of Epsilon, if they mess this up, they will be kicking themselves. They've been on match point now for too long. They should have closed this one out.
Yeah.
And you'll see it in their faces. The focus has returned. David, the caller, the brains behind the bunch, is going to have to keep those boys in line now. And the same can be said for Drunks, the vocal core of Fnatic. And this is what it comes down to.
And so, as we approach the second half of map number 4, we have to highlight how much this could possibly mean as this half could possibly come to a close, taking it into a 5th map. You've already said it, this hasn't happened in so long. We're in that 4th season. We've seen Epsilon secure the first 2, and for Fnatic to come back and bring it to a 5th, that is going to be playing on their minds as well as those of their opponent, Epsilon. Still, as we kick this one off, you can see Duke already trying to have some success in the hallway. Doesn't look like it's going to happen though. Fnatic charging through this one onto the infirmary, and it's looking good already for Fnatic as they're making a move towards A.
Yeah, big play from Mort, picking up the kill. They do have some control. It's going to be a short-lived trip cap, but let's break it down once again, just in case you don't realize. Russian side will be Epsilon. They have to stay above 46 tickets, or we go to that final map where I feel Fnatic will just come into their own. However, Epsilon looking to try and turn that tide, make sure that does not happen. And Horek, one of the men at the helm of this ship, trying to make sure A does not go in Fnatic's favor. So Marzu finds one. You might have to be able to actually get a bit of a glimpse into this, but on the retake, as Morton finally goes down. Where are Fnatic left to? Drunks eyeing up that B site. It's time to head over there.
Trying and failing. David just a little too strong on that one. Duke's doing the same thing. This time too easy, comes out on top of that one, and David, it all falls to him once again to pick up the pieces. In the meantime, though, you can see the AB hold for Epsilon. That Russian side is staying strong. Not something we've seen in the first half. This second half could be changing, or in fact, Value Taja is going to be changing the integrity of B as we speak.
Let's hear it from the team who are stuck on match point, who didn't quite convert this map into their win yet.
Oh,
A is open, A is open. I'm going back.
I'm in C, guys.
Second. Guys, we are opening everything.
Yeah, let's just go B.
Oh, what?
One low, one A, one low, one A.
Where else?
Two same.
Two on A.
Sound calm, but Fnatic, as you just heard, pretty animated on their side. Just to leave this on for a second, just to hear the pressure.
Fuck.
It's fine, guys. It's fine.
Should I push A again?
One C.
3, 2 on A, 2 on A.
Oh yeah, it's a lot A. They're pushing A again.
Wait,
Two C.
One is your connector, one is your connector.
Yeah, one
mid room.
Big one went down.
Two C.
Guys, they got C, they got C. Go away.
He's going junk. They're going junk as well.
Heavy on A, now.
Go away.
2 on A. 2 on A. One is kitchen now. I'm coming to C, by the way. Kitchen. It's low kitchen.
C1 is B,
Pressure moments from the Fnatic boys there. You can hear just the tension in the calls, how much this means to them to get us in the bag, and they are leading, but not by much.
Not by much at all. That 46 tickets from the first half could mean a lot more than the Zavod threshold did, as already these teams relatively inseparable in terms of tickets. But half victory from Fnatic is going to mean a whole lot. And look at Valutaja playing the waiting game, managing to cap over this flag without having to be a presence on the infirmary site. Instead, hanging out by the wall, looking to find a defensive player. He knows there's going to be someone in there to deal with him, and that player is Duke. Pressure now mounting. 2 players on the prowl, going to try and evade the nades. That's 3 nades he's currently had to dodge out of, and eventually he does come falling down, and another corpse litters the infirmary floor. 122 now to 107, and Fnatic have that 2 cap.
And they have Epsilon out in the cold. They also have Unfixed in a position that not necessarily blocks the back spawn, but makes it harder. And look at this pressure towards A gate. 4 players coming in, but we know it's difficult to play this sort of spot. Too easy though, locks them down on the way in, takes down Duke, takes another. That's David out there as well. And that is unbelievable. And a third. Too easy, living up to his name, putting Epsilon down and getting a squad wipe. That is big for Fnatic. And those tickets are going to tumble away from Epsilon here.
And that is the first nail in the Epsilon coffin, there's no doubt about it. That they're going to start being shaky. Their squad near wiped by 1 man, forcing those respawns, distant respawns, nowhere near the sites that they wanted to control. And all that means is that trip cap is going to last.
Yeah, 46 tickets, that's not far from 81 now. Fnatic look like they want to take it through to that final map, show them that Fnatic maybe wanted to have a bit of a challenge, but 120 to 76, a trip cap currently in hand. Fnatic look ready, and Valu is doing real damage.
He's doing so much damage, but so is Mayek. Worth highlighting, Epsilon's side are not out of this one yet. He got over towards that C site, and this is where it matters. He has to move swiftly through those corridors. Both him and his teammates are still caught out in the cold, but someone needs to stand up and say to Fnatic, we're not out of this one yet. Yes, 46 to 63. It's a threshold that surely should go Fnatic's way, but Epsilon, if they go into this 5th map, like Lawrence said already, Fnatic are going to have the momentum, and Epsilon, all they're going to have is bad thoughts and bad communications.
And that's the biggest thing on their mind right now. Finally, they win out on A, but where's the counter move? Where's the retake? Drunks is en route. Too easy, already gets David down, but there we go. Finally, the clean sweep comes in from Epsilon. They look like they might go for a trip cap here. Mayek still holding outside, but on 1 to 6, not having the game of his life just yet. Now going to have to deal with 2 Fnatic players going towards his doorstep. Make it 3 as his teammate Horek goes down trying to support him. He knows this is a bit of an ordeal about to kick off. He's surrounded, he goes down, and that C open, and 57 to 46. It's not far to fall now. Fnatic look like they want to take this to the final map, and Epsilon can do nothing but watch.
It seems to be the case. They've got nothing. They have zero attention, zero weapons in their arsenal at the moment. They are trying to capture something. They're doing their very best to approach any of these sites. And you can see Marcy just dropping the medkit, trying to defend 3 men pushing in towards him. He's just trying to stay alive. It's not going to happen. That was just a dream as Mayek falls as well. C and A flying the Fnatic flag once more. And as we approach this, it looks like we're seeing the last couple of tickets fall away from Epsilon. We're going into map 5 in this grand final, and a grand final it is. Last map is going to be Siege of Shanghai. And as the last ticket ticks away, you can hear Fnatic know it's going into a fit.
Fucking nice. Come on.
That's the moment you wanted for those boys. To get to this point, to take it to that final map. Stunning play from Fnatic, but Epsilon, what is happening? You'd start worrying on the first map, wouldn't you? When you let it get a bit close. And then on the second, you'd think, there's no way they can turn this. And now they're in that final map. The stories come full circle. Epsilon, if you let this drop, you have no one to blame but yourself, sadly. Fnatic were for once looking human in this one.
They were. They showed that there was a small chink in the Fnatic armor, and, well, as Epsilon tried to expose it, all it did was expose themselves. They've got that 5th map coming up, and I mean, Epsilon. I think someone needs to have a team talk with them right now. Whatever is being said on TS right now will probably determine the winner of this one. If Epsilon can cool themselves, don't forget just how much this means to them. I know we've highlighted it before, but if you have just joined us, Epsilon, they've been in this situation before. They've been on the stage. They've been there at that grand final. Spring 2014, Fnatic were the team to stand between them and that first place finish. They took second. It's the highest they have finished, and Fnatic are looking to drop them into that second place, forever second for Epsilon. I don't think they want it to happen.
This is just terrifying for both teams. I kind of feel for Fnatic in a way because they've done the big comeback, and now everyone expects them to win. But that's the biggest pressure moment now in these final couple of seconds before the game starts. Their mental state must be pressured. It must be pushed. And funny enough, I joked with Drunks upstairs, just saying, "Hey, you know, how long is it until we're going to finally get a team to push you?" I was like, maybe we'll throw a couple of maps for you. And I have a horrible feeling Too Easy's going to say the same thing. But I've got to say it. No one's pushed Fnatic as hard as this. No one.
No.
And if Epsilon drop it now, that's enough to make someone question why they play this game.
It's such a huge ask for both of these teams. Fnatic trying to maintain their defending champion title. These guys have done it before and they look to do it again. You can see the map on your screen. Siege of Shanghai is going to be the decider, and teams, all the games they've played on this map prior have meant so little in comparison to this one. But this is going to be a memorable map for these guys. They're going to see Siege of Shanghai, they're either going to look at it with a smile or they're going to look at it, just remember watching Fnatic snatch away their victory.
It's all down to these 10 seconds before this game kicks off. Welcome to the final map here in this best of 5 between Fnatic and Epsilon. It all comes down to this. And I can't wait to see this one get away. Fnatic starting on the Chinese side. US side's going to be Epsilon, and let's see what we have for a start.
All right, so looking at that, Drunk straight away making a move alongside Duke. It's almost parallel to each other. AEK in hands of Duke. He's going to try and surprise straight on towards that A flag. I don't think Fnatic are going to let it happen, or at least not easily, especially when Too Easy is in that middle area. Duke trying to make his way through those stairs. He's trying to find a route into A, but you know, there's just one defensive member there, and in the end, you can see Fnatic, they have picked up that B flag, and they're going to look to hold down this perimeter as long as humanly possible as Epsilon look to be gathering numbers around B.
Yeah, B's a very important jump-off site here for the Epsilon side. They need to claim this one as fast as possible, not allow respawns to come in. But the smoke went down, but Epsilon picked it up, which is the important factor. They get the 2-1 and deny Fnatic that early dominant start. Fnatic, however, now have to be careful of a trip cap because Epsilon are coming out of the gates and they mean business. They've got B, they want A, and they're going to get it. Look at this, though. Unfixed waits patiently. Can he keep this one going? Fnatic now fighting forward. Duke stands in the way, picks up the kill, runs away, backs into it. Nade comes out, Unfixed claims it. 2-1 now, and it looks like Fnatic walk away with the advantage of A and C. Not the sites I expect.
Not the sites that Epsilon probably want either. They know that, yes, it's not particularly standard. Epsilon have been given B, a site that's usually sought after by the winning team. However, Epsilon, they'll take B, and now all they have to do is choose which is easier to defend. Looks like Duke has set his heart on C, and his heart is broken. Going for the clean exchange on that C flag is not enough, and instead, David has made a move for A. They're going to get that AB hold, but the question is, what are Fnatic going to do to respond? Epsilon, it took them so long to get B, the ticket's starting to level out now.
Yeah, and them utilizing the smoke, Epsilon playing a very different style game. They dominate mid, and that's what they needed, a nice clean sweep. And Epsilon regain control here, 126 to 125. This is the even 5th map I expected, but this is a trip cap for Epsilon. They are adding as much pressure as possible, but a great spawn for Fnatic coming in on that B side. Let's see if they can actually lock it down.
Fnatic trying to get every ticket they can save. Long distance revive from Mort. He knows exactly the range that it takes to revive as a nade goes out towards that B site. Duke, the man behind the nade. Can he make anything happen off the back of this? As the B site is the only one currently for Fnatic, and Epsilon, they're not looking as weak as they did on that 4th map locker. And instead, they look to be giving this their all, and they have to. This is really make or break for Epsilon. This is the last season that they could possibly knock Fnatic off their throne.
This is unreal, though. Look at Too Easy. He's even challenged for the trip cap just to pull him off the sides. He gets one down. That's big play. The more players he pulls back towards this, it's perfect. He's getting the assist. He's getting the kills. Finally goes down, but the time ball was perfect. But they don't expect the southern spawns from Epsilon.
Duke trying to do something. Oh, not going to happen. He was hanging around that B site. He goes down. Fnatic continue to hold on to this one. The C flag is being captured over as well. And when it's all said and done, Fnatic are going to maintain this 2-hold.
Yeah, let's see if they keep it. Let's hear it with the Epsilon boys as they're on the verge of retaking B.
Blue, inside blue. Inside blue container.
Alright.
One head.
One catch up.
Alright, go crash.
He jumped down from balcony to car shop.
Turn off the light.
Truck.
Head is dead.
Well, the calm Epsilon to the rather loud Fnatic. Let's hear on the other side quickly how this is going down, as it's perfectly even.
One dead.
Nice.
One more.
Could be more.
More. A lot more. One low.
Down! One more. They can be down! I found B.
Guys, this is the moment. This is the moment. You have to fucking focus now.
See. Check highway spawn.
I got it.
You have to focus now. They're absolutely hitting the nail on the head. Fnatic cannot waver in their control at the moment. They have the AB hold. They cannot afford to see this one fall away from them. They have the AB hold. It's ideal. It's perfect. And Epsilon are starting to stumble. Too Easy has the element of surprise. Leaps out of the container with one frag. He wanted more. And all it's done is mean David has got across the street. And that could be big if Drunks doesn't shut him down.
Yeah, Drunks is there. He's falling back passively, playing smart, not too aggressive, even though he is the voice of the team that you can hear screaming these boys on. But Fnatic again surrounded Too Easy as players left, right, and center. But he's still fighting. He takes down Mayak. He is king of this street right now. Finally falls. But my God, he held on for long. But the 2v2 down here is vital.
So key. I don't know if Epsilon can quite highlight how important holding this one is, and surely not. I'm seeing that C flag flashing. I think it's happening. Unfixed, the man behind the magic. He's gonna make C to go Fnatic's way, and if they do, it's a trip cap, and it is the second nail in the coffin for Epsilon.
That is perfectly done. Value with the triple down on A. Smart play by Unfixed and more up by this flag. It's just perfect. Fnatic are so close now to pushing this further. Epsilon gets squad wiped. Epsilon need to bring this back. They've been so close so many times, but then they just let it slip. They get bullied out. They had the perfect chance before. If only they took down Too Easy a little fast, but nice play from Duke, alleviating some pressure. They're starting on A and building up the street, but with only 49 tickets left, they don't have much to work with here, Alex.
They have nothing to work with. Just the A site, a consolation prize for what they've really had to fight through to get it. Marsu, the only man really remaining as the squad is going to try and make their move towards that B site, but Unfixed has other plans. Picks up 2 frags. Horek and Mayak put to bed early, and it's not the time for it. 41-99, and look at this. Baludaja, he may be missing frags, but all he's doing is applying pressure, exerting pressure towards that A flag, and they're pinning Epsilon in. The random respawns have come in, though, and it's really time to make C happen.
It has to. 33 tickets is not enough. Duke is doing everything he can. He's on 12-10, but that's the best that Epsilon have to offer. They've got to bring more. They have to bring their A game, and Horek's fighting the best he can as well. But still, finally, they get a 2-1, but look at this. Value waited patiently, and now he pounces, gets the double, and possibly opens up seats for the retake. And Epsilon are left in no man's land with 20 tickets left.
They secured the first 2 maps. It is so hard to believe that Fnatic have fought through. They had to win 3 maps in a row, and it's looking like it may be edging towards it. 94-22. If Epsilon want this, they need to make a move for B now.
It's got to be now. Right now, Duke went too far ahead on his own. He gets punished for it. 18 tickets. 94 at the half is near on impossible to turn. These guys have done the impossible before, but I just don't see it happening right now as Marzu does take down Too Easy. They're trying everything they can to get into this B site, but Mort stands tall. Does get a couple of shots off, doesn't get the connections, but I'm assuring you his teammates will down the line. But here comes that B play, 8 tickets left. Fnatic are holding on, but Epsilon are just about fighting back. But look, in response, down in the south, Drunks gets the retake, and this is turning everything on its head. Fnatic still in the driving seat.
And we talk about tilt. Epsilon have fallen from grace. They do not know what to do, where to go, and it's so evident. You listen to their comms and you can just hear them. They are so unstable at the moment. With just 4 tickets left, this is the end for this the first half of our final map.
That's the Fnatic that we don't see often. That's the Fnatic where this matters a hell of a lot to.
This, we said Fnatic need to work. We said Fnatic are going to have to work so hard for this one. And credit to Epsilon. They are making Fnatic work. This is our final map. It's a best of 5. Fnatic can't remember what the last time they played a best of 5 to the best of their ability. And look, David, it affects him so much. I mean, but understandably, anybody put in this position, when you secure, when you get so close, when you win 1 map out of 5 and you have won 10,000 euros, and I mean, yes, there's money, but it's so much more to these guys. They have fallen at this hurdle for so long, and they just want to see Fnatic beneath them in those final standings.
And look at it, Duke, 16-12, but no one else broke into double digits from Epsilon. Just on a one-to-one basis, they weren't playing well enough. I'd love to say it's down to tactics, down to, you know, an outplay from Fnatic. It's not. Fnatic are just so much more pumped up. They know this obstacle in front of them. The man who's leading them there right now is Drunks. He's dragging them. You can hear him so ready for this. But Epsilon, they're pretty quiet right now. And I've got to say, 89 tickets is a hurdle we've rarely seen being beaten. And if it's going to happen, Epsilon need to do it now. They have the chance, they have the spawn, they have the possibility. But the question is, do they have the heart to overcome this?
There is potential for heartbreak. There's no doubt about it. Epsilon going to be trying their... I mean, I keep saying trying their hardest. They have been. But for some reason, and I'm not going to lie, I think it's all coming down to mindset. Epsilon have really started to stumble, fluffing their lines and really not playing the game that they seem to in the first 2 maps. Either way, we are going into this one. You can see 30-second countdown going down. You've got the lineups, matchups 5 versus 5, and every single player needs to give it 110% in order to secure this one. Fnatic, they've done so well to get this far. After going down 2-0, it just feels insane to be, we're on the 5th map. It just feels insane to say that.
10 seconds until we get underway in our final half here in the grand finals between Fnatic, who are starting on the US side, and the Chinese side being Epsilon. And let's bear in mind, if the Chinese side drop below 89 tickets, Fnatic are your reigning, and well, still reigning champions. Let's see how this one starts.
Juke straight up in there. Looks like Too Easy's actually taken down himself as they're trying to make a move on towards this site. Epsilon immediately have secured A and B. It's a good start. It's a step in the right direction, and Epsilon need everything. They need to gather their resources, gather their emotions, and bring their all. Can they put Fnatic on tilt? That's what they need to do.
It has to be from the very start as well, and that's a perfect beginning. Getting a trip cap, that is stunning. And Horek being a one-man turret, 4-1 already in 30 seconds, that's perfect. He's near on taking down the entirety of Fnatic single-handedly. If there's going to be a good start, that's it. Fnatic now need to rebuild, but this is not about Fnatic anymore. This is about Epsilon turning it around. There are a lot of players standing in their way.
Horek, first man, trying to make a difference. He's moving through those shots as is Mayek, having to hit the deck, goes down. 3 frags in a very short space of time from Fnatic, and that's going to be a step in the right direction. Still, though, A and B flashing for Epsilon. B is changing hands, though, and Horek knows it. He's trying to find something, trying to connect onto one of the members of Fnatic. Can't find anything, though, and he's caught in this middle kind of limbo between the 2 sites. Fnatic finally, for the first time, stabilized. They have the 2 sites they need in order to start that bleed against Epsilon, and with only 89 being the threshold, Epsilon cannot afford to watch this site fly the Fnatic flag.
Yeah, and this is the hard choices David's going to have to make now. Is it long rotate time? Is it time to just try and group up and hit these sites? He's taken it upon himself to go on the long rotate. Head round on his own. He's been spotted, though. Fire comes in. The plan has been foiled, and Epsilon are stumbling here. I've got to say it. Fnatic are holding this 2-1, and a near-on squad away, again, leaving it down in the hands of Mayek to just defend that one site they've been able to maintain. And I've got to say it, Fnatic are going to pressure that too.
This is it. Epsilon, so little left in their tickets. We are in the best of 5. We're in map 5. It's so hard to believe that the Fnatic side have kept their minds as stable as they have. And it's really showing that these eyes are worthy of the title of defending champion. Pushing on towards this C side, trying to neutralize that. Drunk's almost single-handedly alongside his team of Mort. He's managed to control that one, as Mort is on the other side of the map on that A flag. So they're looking to pressure this. This is an offensive defense from the Fnatic player. He does eventually go down. You can see Epsilon players gathering in that middle area.
Keep your eyes on those tickets, 106 to 89. It's not far, and Fnatic are getting louder and louder as they're getting ticket by ticket closer to that scoreline, and I think we're almost there, 2-1. I don't think they can turn this one around. A couple more tickets, and Epsilon have lost this.
Fnatic, all they need to do is close this one out. You can see the tickets falling away. The B and C sites are not being taken fast enough. Horek's doing his very best to secure C. He's doing everything he possibly can. 89, Fnatic have done the incredible. I do not quite believe I'm going to say this, but I think we're going to see Fnatic defend their throne. The Kings of Battlefield have done it once more, and they take the title for the 3rd time.
Stunning. Stunning stuff from Fnatic. If you wanted a final, they just gave you one. Everything you wanted just came true. Sadly for Epsilon, it's the complete opposite of what they wanted. Being so close and having it ripped away at the last seconds. And sadly, you can see it on their faces.
Oh, of course you can. That is going to be playing on their minds as this one comes to a close.
Fnatic gave us the display that I think we all wanted to see from them. Finally, a team pushing them to their absolute limits, but when the chips are down, these boys turn up to play. And I've got to say, Fnatic really just showed us how Battlefield should be done.
I have to exhale. That was quite a final. I mean, huge credit to Fnatic where it's due. The champions have done it once again. It's so hard to believe. Epsilon just stumbling at that final hurdle to close this one out. And I mean, they're a team who, in all rights, in the way they've played this tournament, I would say that they deserved that win. But then I say that, but then you saw how they played in those remaining 3 maps. I just don't know what to think at the moment.
I just don't know. It's so hard to break down what we witnessed from the start here, because how many times have we seen what we think was Fnatic being pushed and then it being just kind of thrown away? They know they can turn games on a dime, and we've never seen them push to that kind of limit where they've had to truly dig deep and come out with something phenomenal, because no one's been able to do that to them. And Epsilon, credit to them. No one wants to hear it when you've just lost out, but they did push Fnatic that far. But if only it was that 10% more.
But they just didn't have it. They really did give it their all. And credit to Fnatic. Yes, we were sat there thinking Epsilon are so close, but the fact that they maintained such clinical play for so long. We just went through a best of 5 with Fnatic. I mean, when you're coming back after watching 2 maps, seeing 2 maps fall away from you against a team you thought you would 3-0 sweep, I don't know how they managed to control themselves. It's almost unreal.
And let's look at it this way. On the first 2 maps as well, it was such a decisive win from Epsilon.
Yeah, it's true.
It wasn't even that close. A couple of the halves may have been down to, what, 7 tickets on the half, but then the closing scorelines were massive in favor to Epsilon. And you thought, what's happened to Fnatic? Have they finally met that one team, that one bit of kryptonite, Mayek being in the lineup, everything falling into place for Epsilon, having the nice, comfortable journey that they had here, not having to fight too hard and reserving that little bit extra. But the funny thing was that, discussing with Paul before some of Fnatic's games, was when they're playing, you feel like they've got more kind of tucked away somewhere, that 10% more, that 20% more. You know,
it's true.
And they had to use that reserve in that game.
I don't know whether it comes down to practice. These guys have done it before. Don't forget, this is now their 3rd title, defending champions, and who can deal with them? I don't know who can deal with them, but all we can do is celebrate now with Fnatic, and we'll go over to the celebration over in the studio.
Thank you to Alex, to Jason, and of course to Lauren for all the commentary they've provided and the expert analysis throughout the weekend in our final season of Battlefield 4. And with David Serland on the stage, David, very quick word before we bring the teams up and let them enjoy their moment in the spotlight. What have your thoughts been of the final weekend of our last season?
That was great. 5 matches. That's what I wanted, right?
Yeah, fantastic final, 3-2. Couldn't have asked for anything better, could we?
No, really, no. I don't think so.
All right, well, let's bring the 2 teams up. David, if you'd just like to take your place. Our first team have been a fantastic team in Battlefield 4 throughout 2014, but once again, they have come up short despite going through the final in a 2-0 fashion and then going down 3-2. They have been playing fantastically well all weekend. They deserve their 2nd place. They are Epsilon. As I said before, they had a fantastic season. Well done, David. Had a fantastic season. They've been playing superbly all the way through 2014. And of course, this weekend were unbeaten until they got to the final. Looked like they were going to go and do a 3-0 as well. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the runners-up of our full season are Epsilon. Which leaves us with just one team to announce onto the stage, and it's appropriate that the team that started 2014 as everyone's favourites, as everyone's top team in Battlefield 4, and although they failed in Season 1, they came back stronger than ever in Seasons 2 and 3 and now 4. The champions of Fall 2014, the Battlefield 4 champions, are Fnatic. As we said already, they are the dominant force in Battlefield 4. An unprecedented 3 consecutive championships in a row. And the winners once more again here in Cologne. Well done. Well done, Drunks. And David, if you present the trophy, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the champions of Fall 2014 for Battlefield 4 are Fnatic! Hey, whoa. Wait, no, come back. You can, like, this place. Stand over here. The stage is now yours. Center of the stage. It's yours. You've done this before, guys. Come on. Anyone would think they hadn't. There we go. Once more then. For the champions of Battlefield 4, our Fnatic. And that's it from ESL One in Cologne for the 4th and final season of Battlefield 4 in 2014. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Over 120,000 euros given away in prize money and 4 titles, 3 of which belong to these guys. The night is for Fnatic, but the seasons have been fantastic. Thanks for tuning in for 2014. We'll see you for more Battlefield 4 in 2015. Congrats, Fnatic.